tracks.
No, I don't think it was
It
that
wasn't
long.
8. It was more than 8.
Bandana was, what, 13, 14
16.
tracks? Something like
16, but it was short though. Like some of them songs wasn't more than like 2 minutes.
And that's another thing where artists trying to, and I see where they're trying to play the middle, trying to figure out how much is too much. It's too short.
I like that though.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like the shorter songs.
As long as it's good though, because I like always wanting more of a song.
Yeah, like I put it like Paul Marley.
Okay,
It's
I'm about to
perfect.
tweet it out.
You got Freddie, you got Mike on the hook, and then you got what's his name? Push. That's it. That's all I need. 2 verses and a hook, nigga. That's it. You like we didn't need we didn't need another Freddie verse. We didn't need another
I don't
Push
have a
verse.
problem with it. I think
We did need a Mike verse though.
I feel good. At first, I felt like that, but I feel good with him on the hook because the hook is so.
It's
hard.
like when you hear them J. Cole songs with Kendrick on the hook. It be like, come on, bro. Like it's like we need a verse.
Track listing, you think you're getting a verse.
Exactly.
You're getting a hook.
Yeah, you see Killer
Because you don't
Mike
see Kendrick
and
as a hook.
Pusha.
You don't see Killer Mike as a hook guy either.
No.
Nah, but he killed it though. He killed it.
I see more artists have that. They're kind of trying to balance the two, trying to figure out if
That's
the
the-
song
that's
should
the
be
creative
long.
juices for it. That's why we did the age of
It truly
music, like, you gotta be
Because there's some
really-
people that will go look at your track list and then look at your time and be like, okay, this album is an hour long. I don't know if I want to sit for an hour. And then some people might be like, oh, it's 23 minutes. This shit is just like the Black Thought joints. You know, dope. And it's like, as soon as you get into it, it's over.
That's how Fetty is. Yeah.
Bro, how do you know listen to Fetty? Fetty must have came and went.
I think he's a nurse.
He's dope.
Listen to it.
Okay.
As soon as that first track.
Everybody's there's some content coming from every that's all. Good to be back, man. Good to be back. I'm gonna try to do this more often.
He be
I-
saying,
know it's
he said that
tough.
what, a year ago.
I know his work schedule.
Yeah,
is
his schedule's crazy.
You the
Yeah.
deadbeat daddy of this podcast. You know that.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
It's different, man. I know it's different. So,
But I listen every week, man, and
I know you do.
this
Every
dude
time,
Nick had me cussing in the car.
Hey,
mean,
I realized last week I was like, all right, I'm not taking back anything I said. By the way, I'm gonna let you know.
what?
I'm gonna say I was like I was too hot. I came in too hot.
No, you
That-
weren't.
I started the
That's
season
fine.
off too hot.
Shooting
but
into a
like,
lot of
It's gonna
you
be
said,
it's gonna be mostly get whatever
gonna
the
be
whatever the
150.
top number is, he's gonna get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Because think about it. Let's be honest.
What?
And people said I was reaching last year, so
Yeah.
I tempered it.
Okay.
And I shut the hell up. Throughout the season, did I say anything about Mahomes, really?
No.
I said at the beginning, and I let people witness. Mahomes is the best skilled quarterback in the NFL. Don't nobody have more in their bag than Mahomes do right now.
More than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
More than Aaron Rodgers. And the only
What's the difference?
his legs are better than Aaron Rodgers. His arm.
I would say younger. I would say
He's younger.
Well, I mean, that's an obvious thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but his arm is more lively, and that is crazy to say.
Yeah.
Versus Aaron Rodgers,
He does
his
have a big
arm
arm.
is more lively.
You think this year might be a slight drawback from last year?
Is he getting like how many touchdowns is he getting?
Oh, he ain't get 50.
Yeah, no,
he's not.
Yeah.
Getting, he's not
So,
doing
like,
that
what-
again.
If he did 50
39?
again, that's he
He'd
damn
be
near.
30s.
39.
He'd be in the
High
30s, almost 40s.
maybe low 40s.
I think if he's between 30 and 40, he's good.
Yeah, I think he'll be there. I think he'll be 40. Close to 4,500, maybe pushing 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Because it's Andy Reid. Like,
right, exactly.
let's-
That offense is as long
it's
as
geared
Tyreek
towards
Hill
that.
stays out of trouble and
Who's running the ball? For
It's a committee.
It's a committee.
Yeah, it don't
they'll
matter.
they'll draft a running back this year. After this year.
Speaking of running backs, are we gonna do the top 5?
You want to do it right now?
I'm just saying, what are we gonna do at
Yeah,
some
we
point
definitely
tonight?
doing that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I know we did the whiteout.
Yeah.
Trying to find-
Well, before we get into that, I wanted to talk. You talked about a lot of young QBs. This was the second week of preseason that ended again. Did y'all see it? Did y'all been watching any more of the young QBs? We saw more of Daniel Jones. We saw more of Dwayne.
What they call him? Danny Dimes, or
call-
Daniel Jones.
oh, for real? That's what they call him?
I didn't know he had a nickname yet. I ain't
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
they gave him a
Oh,
nickname.
I gave him a nickname.
What was
I
it?
call him DAP, D-A-P, dumbass pick. Because I think that was a dumbass pick by the Giants.
All right, man.
But I could be.
What's,
I-
what,
I'm-
why?
I'm-
Why is that? Why do you
Well,
say that?
Again, because I don't think that I think that was a reach at 6. I think if the Giants had picked him at 17 or 16 or 17,
Do you agree with the sentiment of as far as what most draft GMs say? Like, if that's your quarterback, you go get him, regardless of where he's at. You go get him.
Yeah, you do, and I know that he interviewed well when he interviewed with the Giants, so that plays into that as well. And Haskins didn't interview well with the Giants. I do know that. The flip side of that is, I think sometimes GM. We talked about this before on the podcast. I think sometimes GMs they overthink things. So when in doubt, turn the tape on.
So you've been listening to Baker. That's what it is.
No, I mean just turn the tape on. When you turn the tape on, there's a reason why he was at Duke. There's a reason why he.
Okay, so
played
then
the
what
way he
about
played.
a Matt Ryan who went to Boston College?
Uh-huh.
What about a Patty Mahomes who went to Texas Tech?
Right.
What about Carson Wentz who went to North Dakota?
Yeah.
Like, these are small schools. They ain't really do much in
It's not
college.
about the schools.
So
It's about what you did at the school. So it's no knock. I mean, Duke is not a football factory. You know that. But I think the thing was that there was nothing that jumped out at me, at least what I saw from him at Duke. And I watched ACC football. So I just don't think that – I think he was probably the 17th pick. There were some people that had him not even being drafted in the first round. So for the Giants to pick him at 6, and there's no knock on him. If I'm the Giants, I'm not taking him at 6.
But have you seen what he's doing in preseason?
It's preseason.
The
bro.
preseason.
I'm not saying it's the
I
end all
temper
be all, but I'm
everything-
saying has he impressed you at all in preseason?
No.
Not at all.
No,
No.
because I don't make nothing of the preseason because half the guys that are playing in the preseason will be at home in 2 weeks.
And the thing about him is that I give him that he's more poised than I thought coming out of college, and especially at his completion percentage in college was in the 50s. But he don't jump off the screen to me. Like like good quarterbacks, like guys that have a high ceiling, they jump off the screen. Like when I first saw Dak, he didn't jump off the screen, but I knew because Romo's injury history
When you saw Mahomes, his ass.
Oh yeah, as soon as you saw Mahomes, hey, bro, I ain't see that. You know what I'm saying? As soon as we saw Aaron Rodgers when he was sitting for Brett Favre, like we knew, like dog, you can't teach half of the stuff he doing. Daniel Jones don't have that it factor. He nice, he good, but to be picked where he was picked, you always talk about draft capital. It's not worth it.
I think it was. And I only say it not only as a Giants fan, but just because of the fact of, again, like Dave Gettleman, as much people have given him flack, like so far he's really drafted well for the Giants. Like if you look at pick for pick for as far as where they were to where they're going, he's drafted in the right positions. He's heavily invested in the offensive line, clearly, because he's put a lot of money and a lot of draft capital in that. Everybody been saying for the last 3 years that we need to draft a QB. He drafted a QB that is meant to play in New York City under the big bright lights. And I'm not saying that to knock Dwayne Haskins, but I think that because of the interview and all that stuff, like there's a lot to go on as far as being a quarterback for the New York Football Giants than what most people think. And I think he is just every time I see him play, I'm like, I see good things about him. I don't think he's ready to play yet. I think he does need to sit for a year, but I think that year will do him a lot of justice because they definitely still got to get that offensive line.
The only problem is he may have to play this year. You know, if Eli struggles, I mean, Eli not going to get hurt because
and it's all about the expectations.
Yeah, so he may have to play this year, and then, you know, it's hard for me to kind of just be overwhelmed with what he's doing in the preseason because, again, it's not real. The guys that he's playing against, most of the guys he's playing against will be at home in 2 weeks.
True.
And so what's going to happen when you're down 10 with 3 minutes to go and you're in Dallas? That's what I want to see from Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when I'll know whether or not he's good or not. Right now, I don't know how good he is.
And to me, this season, I'm expecting 6-10, 7-9. Like that's to me, that's the ceiling for them for this season.
For the Giants.
8-8 would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ecstatic for 8-8.
Yeah.
But if Eli and Kim just show like they're somewhat competent,
right,
and they're moving in the right direction, I'm fine with that. Another young QB before we go to the next one, Jimmy G.
That's your man's.
I've been trying to call out this nigga for the longest.
You like Jimmy G?
I can't stand Jimmy G.
So you didn't like him?
Nah, he's the next.
He's a hater.
He's Matt Flynn 2.0. That's what I call him. I think when he signed that contract for, what was it? He was like the highest paid QB at one point. It was like $120 million or something, like $26 million. Yep. And he only played 8 games.
Because he signed that after they didn't he like win
got
the
traded.
last. Yeah, he got traded, but didn't he win San Francisco like last 5 games or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like
he's been like 8-2. His record is 8-2, but
Yeah.
against meaningless ass games.
Right.
Like, and to me, it's just like you're starting to see like not only was he a jackass how he busted his ACL, but now he's coming back. Like he's missed a lot of time. And now he's coming back and he doesn't have any weapons. His offensive line is shit. The best thing about that team is the tight end, which was
George Kittle.
Yeah, which randomly he came out of nowhere.
Right.
And now you're asking him to be the leader of your franchise. I don't think he's the guy.
But that's what.
The only way he be Matt Flynn 2.0, he got to get beat out by a third string QB.
Hey,
Tell him about it.
He might have somebody behind him.
Who?
That who's number 3 on the dude who was playing when he was out?
C.J. Beathard?
Was he the main one? Because he gave Kittle his numbers.
Yeah, he did because he was a one-read guy. Jimmy, it's hard to really judge Jimmy right now. He hadn't played in a year. Last night was his first real game action in a long time. So his struggles wasn't surprising for him to go 1-6. So he has to get back into rhythm. He has to trust that leg. He has to be able to catch up to the speed of the game. So we gotta see, man. But 8-2 is 8-2.
Yeah. Man, y'all posting too much bail for him.
8-2 is 8-2. I mean, didn't Belichick like him?
Belichick liked a lot of guys. He liked Aaron Hernandez too. That don't mean shit to me.
He was a baller though. I mean, besides the off the field issues, he was a baller. He produced. Him and Gronk was a nightmare and when they was in at the same time.
Didn't they want to trade Brady to keep Jimmy G?
That's all because Belichick liked to move off people dumb early.
He wanted to do that though, right?
All right, we'll see. We damn sure ain't got no Belichick in San Fran.
Like something there. I see something there, brother.
Right,
Maybe it's only something that he can work with because we see how many QBs who've left his system not do well, and I think Jimmy G is one of them.
Matt Castle did okay for a minute.
Matt Castle ain't.
He got.
He's a footnote.
I think the thing with Jimmy G is you just don't know because, I mean, he's coming off ACL, and he looked like a guy coming off ACL last night. Again, it's the preseason. You can't really make much of that, but time will tell. I mean, it's going to be real bullets, and the thing you don't want is to get in the game and try to feel like, okay, I got to live up to this $150 million contract because there's a whole bunch of people that think you're not worth that contract.
Exactly.
And when it gets in your head,
you know what's funny is they still think that now, even though the market reset. So they're still judging him based on the contract that he signed last year or 2 years ago. that is no longer is the number one paid quarterback anymore. Same thing they did with Stafford. Oh, he ain't worth all that money.
Right.
Well, now he's what, third, fourth, highest paid or something like that?
Yeah, but then you start looking at those contracts, and I brought this up last season. As far as like all those top 10 quarterbacks who got paid the most, only like 2 of them went to the playoffs. Just the playoffs in itself. It's like that. All that money don't mean shit. Like they always talk about quarterback more. You got to pay the quarterback. Like if they don't win you games, then what are we paying you this money?
But here's the thing though, Nick. How many teams win without a quarterback?
If y'all say the Bears,
okay, 100%. But
Tebow won.
Not Tebow.
He won a playoff game.
That's
about that
Tebow, man.
However, I think that in the Bears situation, right, there's not many great head coaches in the NFL either, right? And I think you need one or the other, if not both, if you want to be a Super Bowl contender. And Matt Nagy is top 5 in the NFL right now.
for one season.
He's been there 2 seasons.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But this last season was the one. It wasn't the first season.
Yeah, because he brought Mitch Trubisky up. Like nobody elevated Mitch Trubisky outside of Matt Nagy. Huh?
Khalil Mack elevated.
You saying it's Nagy or Mack?
No,
I'm saying it was Mack.
Khalil Mack elevated that entire team.
Yes.
But just like
That's
Ray
what I'm
Lewis
saying.
and the Ed Reeds of the yesteryear Ravens, that's what great defensive players can do. Lawrence Taylor.
So,
however, the Bears put up points. No.
You always go to Dilfer, man. You can't think of nobody else.
What I'm saying is this, right? Trent Dilfer didn't take a leap forward at all at quarterback. We knew what he was. He was what he was,
right.
And he did his job. Trubisky played above his talent level. That's not because the defense played better. That's because Matt Nagy put him in positions to do better than what he can do by himself.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not hating. I'm not hating this year.
You're not.
I'm turning over a new leaf.
You just
man.
gonna sit back and watch.
Yep,
Yeah, damn lie.
Let's see how long this lasts.
It's preseason, right?
I think King just gonna sit back and watch, and then soon when something exposed, he gonna go on a tangent.
Yeah, he
I
gonna
already know y'all.
He gonna be real slick.
Y'all
with
watching
it.
Yeah, he gonna be slick as hell with it too. Super
He watching every Dallas game. Wait, he gonna count Dak's stats and everything. He gonna come.
I'm always pro brother. Always
He not-
pro brother.
he not.
Ken.
So Ken, what are some of the quarterbacks you're watching this year, like kind of with a microscope to kind of pick them apart a little bit?
Brady.
Okay, why?
I'm just playing. Y'all know I
I
hate
was about to
Brady.
say what?
I hate Brady, but
But okay, so let's stick on Brady for a little bit because I don't like New England either, like that. But at this point, you gotta respect it.
It's not even at this point. It's been at this.
Yeah, I just said I hate the brother. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not it. That's a strong statement, nigga.
So what quarterbacks are you watching? Who's under the Ken's microscope?
Daniel Jones for sure. Kyler Murray, because he'll probably be out. Take Daniel Jones out. Unless Eli gets hurt, he's on the field. Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray for sure. Lamar Jackson, most definitely. Carson Wentz.
I was gonna say Carson
Wentz.
well.
I definitely want to.
He need to stay healthy. He can't.
If he get hurt again, what happens?
You know who he's becoming?
Andrew Luck.
No. He's becoming Sam Bradford.
Oh, ooh.
Don't do that. Don't do that to Carson.
But if he get hurt again, he's Sam Bradford. You talking about
Yeah,
accurate?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Big. Height wise.
He's bigger. He was bigger than
Sam Bradford can play like
Sam
that
Bradford
though.
was a little
stockier.
Sam Bradford can play like that though. Carson looks like he's better.
Sam Bradford's a dog coming out.
Carson is more mobile.
Yeah.
But Sam Bradford had the arm. he had
the
every NFL intangible you want.
There's
Sam
another
Bradford
guy with
set
another
out.
contract.
Sam-
Big contract.
I got another one for you. In
Andy Dalton.
Jacksonville. Nick Foles. Shut up, Kyle.
You see that? No, you about to say Andy
I
Dalton.
knew he was about to say Andy Dalton.
Nick Foles.
Man.
Nick's boy.
Hey,
Nick's
Nick
boy.
Foles.
That Nick Foles.
Was he in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Wow.
Over under 10 games, Nick, for Nick Foles.
Over.
So they gonna get 11-5.
Do you not look at that division? Andrew Luck is gonna be hurt.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. The Texans they're too discombobulated as far as
You
their
think
whole
so?
Tennessee Titans.
Texans look
Titans
pretty
ain't gonna
good.
do shit.
Oh yeah, Deshaun Watson's better than that.
Yeah.
That's arguable.
I forgot about
That's
him.
arguable. That's arguable.
And you know
forgot
that
about
poll
him.
was blown.
I don't mean to bring up
understand.
the
I know.
Yeah, I
right?
didn't mean to bring up
I saw
old
that
stuff.
shit. Too.
I understand.
Like, yeah.
I'm willing. Hey, that's why I'm in the what's it? The mall. I'm sitting in the mall chair.
More than 10 wins for Jacksonville.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you can get 6. I think he can sweep. The
Now I will
division.
say this much, and you guys have done a great job. And I didn't really hear a lot of people talk. Nobody's talking about Andrew Luck. This calf injury, quote unquote,
Right.
It's not
bad.
even just the calf.
Yeah, it's
the
bad.
whole leg.
Yeah, they said it's like
They
a bone
it's
bruise
It's
or
like
something.
KD's situation. It was like they didn't know if it was misdiagnosed.
When they
know.
started mentioning KD, I was like, that don't sound right. Something.
No, it don't.
Yeah.
And if we talking about Glass, he should be sponsored by M. Night Shyamalan. That motherfucker has been. he had a shoulder. He had the now he's got the whole leg pretty much. And then he had his back, didn't he?
But let's be honest though. Andrew Luck was one of those renegade quarterbacks that was like, I'm gonna give you this shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And just keep running.
Just keep running. Yeah.
He wasn't one of those guys. Let me slide. Let me run out of bounds. He was in the Cam Newton there because look at Cam Newton now with his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of rugged type.
And I don't think he 100%. I don't think him 100%.
No, he's not 100%.
Yeah, no.
The only quarterback in that mold that has lasted is Ben Roethlisberger. There's nobody else to play that
Because
rough
of that
and
line.
rugged. Nah, hell no. You
No,
know the
'cause he
type of
big
shot.
as
No,
he is.
I'm saying in his later years, that line has helped him out a lot because he still holds on to the ball, but he still gets time.
He still shrugs people off and he takes hits
He's
too.
talking about the physicality, like when there
And
is
the way he played.
contact.
Exactly.
So when the line breaks down and he's looking at a linebacker, yeah, they ain't been able to take out Ben. Now he has missed some games, but everybody does. You know, Brady's missed games. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Big
It's
Ben.
only Big Ben that's been able to play physical at the quarterback position and last. There hasn't been another.
And with him being compared to the next John Elway, this is like he's at a cross. That's what it was when he came into the league. He was compared to John Elway. Like he was the next best prospect since.
I heard that. I've heard that before.
So like he's at a crossroads right now because outside of his first few years in the league, like he hasn't really made that jump to like he was supposed to be considered one of the best top 5 QBs in the league right
because
now.
at the
was
time
for a
he was
minute,
the
right?
quote unquote prototypical quarterback.
Yeah. And I think that if you look at the history of the NFL, you can't talk top 10, top 15 without mentioning him.
Yes.
He's arguable in
He's
top
done a
10,
lot.
top 15.
He's done a
all
lot
time.
for that roster. He's done a lot for that roster. But at the same time, like he was.
How many rings John got? 2?
Yeah.
He got 2. Ben is 1 and 2.
But I think John Elway lost.
He lost in 80.
He lost like 3, right?
3 Super Bowls, I think.
Yeah.
Lost the Giants, Redskins, and somebody else. I think.
Because it was looking iffy for him. Like Terrell Davis got him his ring.
Yeah, he didn't win until like his later
And
years.
he did it
right?
blind.
He
He
did-
couldn't even look.
The helicopter.
No. I'm talking about Terrell. Terrell
Davis.
Davis suffered from migraines, and in that game that you're talking about, some of those runs, he said his eyes were so blurry he couldn't even see.
Wow.
He just knew where he was supposed to go, and he just ran.
Yeah. So he.
Yeah, Terrell Davis had an out-of-body experience those 2 years.
Yep,
They won
he
Super
sure
Bowl.
did.
He was clearly the best running back in
Yes.
the league those 2 years.
And you
that
know
was
what's crazy? Those 2 years got him to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Because he won.
2 years.
Them 2 years got him to the
That's
Hall of
it.
Fame. That was it.
Because he got John Elway a ring.
Yep.
Because we
Got him
didn't
too.
think
And then
John was going to.
John Elway retired. He retired on top.
He sure did.
So I know we're kind of just floating
That's
along
fine,
the
that's
conversation. But wouldn't it have been, you know who I think what running back would have been in the same boat as Terrell Davis if he could have got his team to win?
Who?
Priest Holmes.
Yes.
Remember the
Yeah.
shit Priest Holmes did for 2-3 years?
Yeah, man.
In Kansas City?
Yeah, man. Him and
man.
Tony Gonzalez, they was killing
Yeah, man.
shit.
Priest Holmes
They
was
just
a
couldn't get
beast.
over the hump.
If they would have
That
got
defense.
a title,
Yeah.
If Priest Holmes and them would have got a title, he would have been Hall of Fame
And
too.
remember, Larry Johnson stepped in and started doing the same
Started doing
thing.
the same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Larry
Yep.
Johnson was a dog too.
Yep.
So, since we
Who
all,
was their quarterback? I'm sorry. Hold on.
I think it was Montana. Was it Montana or was it
Nah,
Gerbach?
nah.
Or was it
Not
Gerbach?
Priest Holmes
was it Garcia?
Yeah.
It,
Might have been
ma-
No, not Garcia. Gerback? No, not
Was it
Gerback.
Gerback?
it wasn't Elvis Gerbach? Look it up.
It was one of them.
What
if
year?
not both of
What
them.
years Priest Holmes played?
Shit, early.
That was early 2000s.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't.
Because that was around the
No, it wasn't
time
Montana. Montana was gone.
Jamal Lewis, he was playing between the Ravens and the Cleveland Browns, and he was bumbling and fumbling for 2,000 yards too.
Man, yeah. Yeah, Jamal Lewis, man. Monster.
Oh no, wait. Am I thinking of the right person? Jamal Lewis played for the Falcons, didn't he?
No,
You thinking
that's
about Jamal Anderson.
Jamal Anderson.
That's Jamal Anderson. You're
Yeah,
right.
the
Jamal
Dirty
Lewis
Bird.
was- yeah.
The dirty bird.
Sniff the coke off the toilet seat, Jamal Williamson.
Man, he gave light-skinned brothers a bad name, but. But what you was gonna
I was gonna say, since we on running backs, y'all got a top 5
I got my top
for
five.
this
I got
for
top
right
five.
now. Not talking about all time, just right now.
Yeah, for these seasons.
Oh, all time is you already know.
Yeah,
it's all
that's
time.
different.
Who's your all time, Nick? I'm
Number
just
one?
curious. Yeah, just curious.
It's really only one answer.
Man, you got to think that hard.
Because I'm going through you're asking me or just in
Yeah,
objective?
I mean, well, I'm gonna ask everybody. I just want to get a feel for the room.
Damn, bro, you got to think like that.
Yeah, you got to come back to me. I'm
Barry Sanders, bro. I ain't even got to think about that.
Barry Sanders.
I ain't got
Ken?
to think about it.
Yeah, Barry Sanders.
I say Walter Payton.
That's fine.
Talked about it.
And
We
I
talked
gotta
about
go
it.
OG,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that because
Sanders,
I
my
can't
two.
Sweetness?
Yeah,
sweetness, man.
man, he just
Yeah, when I watch highlights of him, he
Man, let me tell you
glides,
something.
boy.
And then Jim Brown.
yeah,
People
he,
say Jim Brown.
Peyton
They say
just-
Jim Brown is the best football player of all time.
he was a man amongst boys.
Yeah, I think Jim Brown is one of the few that played with a reckless abandon. It's kind of like he has 60 yards here. Who? Let me go.
Yeah,
get this
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Let me get that guy.
yeah, yeah.
Fuck up all
He
me.
would run out of his way to run you over.
Yes.
Sweetness was just he was dope, man. I mean, the only thing was he just didn't have the kind of offense that
No, he
Barry
didn't.
had. He didn't have
He
that
didn't.
kind of offense that
He
Emmett
didn't.
had. But yeah,
What
he
about Bo?
I was gonna say I wanted to say
Bo,
Bo.
talent wise,
I wanted to say
he had to
Bo.
be top 3.
I was gonna
Talent
say
Wow, not top 3.
I was gonna say
let me tell you
Bo.
something.
Talent.
Had
I'm
he
sorry.
stayed healthy, Bo Jackson
Would've
would
been
have.
the greatest
Bo
athlete.
Jackson could have been the greatest athlete
Yes.
of all
All
time.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to
Yes.
say Bo, but I was like his career wasn't that long.
It wasn't.
Bruh,
So
let me
I would
tell
have
you
to go with
something, man.
either between Barry and
go to your Google machine, man. Bo Jackson.
No,
was
I watched. I watched.
Unreal.
He was,
after
man.
that 30 for 30 came out. I was watching all his shit. and I was
He
like,
was
bro, this
unreal.
Football
nigga.
and baseball.
He was. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Balls,
Yes,
boy, in
dude.
baseball.
And the
You
thing
knew it
was
gone.
that he never, especially when he got to the professional level, he just didn't. He couldn't, because of the schedules, couldn't devote time to
Yeah,
to
one like
but he
either one
still
like
was a
that.
dog.
Man,
In
listen.
And that's
both sports.
crazy.
And then when I was watching the 30 for 30, somebody in that 30 for 30 said that if Bo Jackson devoted his time fully to baseball, he would have been the greatest baseball player ever.
Yeah, of
and I
course.
believe it.
Of
I
course.
believe it. Because you rarely see, regardless of sport, a guy that's that big, that strong, that skillful, that agile, that
hit.
powerful.
He had power. He could hit for power. He could hit for singles. He could.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a cannon.
Yep.
Man, try to
Oh,
run.
yeah.
Try
Oh,
to
yeah.
run on Bo Jackson
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to.
Man.
From way back there.
I saw him
from the
throw out
warning
cats
track.
plenty of
He
times.
just-
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
What about 4? So we got Jim Brown, Sweetness, Barry Sanders.
Emmitt Smith.
Nah.
Yeah, he was.
Nah. because here's the thing about Emmett. I think that his team elevated. He was great, and I don't want to take anything away from Emmett. He was
He
great.
had too many stars around him.
The team elevated his greatness.
What about AP then? Or is he not even in the top?
Oh, he got
he's
it.
up there.
Yeah.
What about
He's up
LaDainian?
there. He
What
might
about
be-
LaDainian Tomlinson?
Who?
LaDainian.
I wanted to say LT's in there too. He was a dog.
He was, but I don't know top 5 though. What about OJ?
OJ was a monster.
OJ was.
I mean, well, yeah. Bad choice of words. My bad.
He was a killer.
He was.
Man, but let me tell you something.
What about
OJ
Campbell?
Simpson? And I saw OJ, man. He was washed when I saw him.
In
When
San
I remember
Fran?
seeing him. Yeah, he
In
was
San
like San
Fran.
Francisco.
Yeah.
But man, OJ was so nasty with it. I mean, like he had speed. He had the moves. I mean, like he could juke you. He could run you over. You know, ask your uncles or your pops or your grandpops about OJ, man. OJ was dope. He was dope. I mean, like people, you know, they have their, and rightfully so, feel the way that they feel about OJ. But OJ, the football player, I mean, easily one of the greatest of all time.
What about Dickerson?
Yeah.
Still got the record for most rushing yards in the season.
How many yards he got?
Like 2,100 and
Nobody's
something.
beating that.
Man, he ran like
AP
a
was close
stallion.
though. Yeah.
He ran
So
upright.
I never watched him, but I heard
Man,
he was
cold.
Yeah, I heard he was.
CJ
good.
Spiller came close.
CJ Spiller came close.
That's what got him that
all
contract,
purpose,
didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
What's that guy that can't walk now?
Who?
Both his legs are messed
Oh, you
up.
talking about Earl Campbell?
Earl Campbell.
Campbell.
Man,
Marcus Allen is
I
up
saw
there.
Earl Campbell at the Hall of Fame. Man, it was sad seeing him like that.
Yeah, he said he looked to run you over.
Yeah.
And he said, "What's that line?" He said, If I hit him right, he said, they ain't want to play football no more. That's what he said.
Damn.
He said, if I hit him
an
right,
offensive player.
he said,
Right.
they ain't gonna want to play football no more.
That's how insane they were, man.
And he was
Anybody else like in the recent maybe 15 years that you can probably
Curtis Martin.
Curtis Martin?
He was good.
He was impactful. I was gonna say let's talk about two big running backs, three. Jerome Bettis,
The bus.
the bus. He was he was one of those dudes that you looked at. He's like, he ain't quick. Then he run you over and then outrun everybody. It's like, damn, bro, how you do that? Mike Allstott. Obviously, his career was relatively
He
short.
gets respect.
Yeah,
he gets
he was super impactful.
He gets respect.
What about?
And then my third one, Eddie George.
Ooh, yeah.
Eddie George and Steve
Yeah.
McNair, they carried that Tennessee Titans team.
What's dude's
bro.
name from the
And the
Rams?
Houston Oilers.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall
Yeah.
Faulk.
Ooh,
You know, Marshall Faulk would have been better in this.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that. I think
he would have been better in
Yes.
this. He would have been more
Yes.
dominant now.
He played in the wrong era.
He did. Because just think about what they did with the greatest show on turf, bro.
Man, Marshall Faulk would have been a fantasy football
Oh,
number
legend.
one
God.
pick.
He was. I had him on a few of my
Was he
teams.
playing during fantasy
Yeah.
football?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
I
that
wasn't
was-
I
playing.
had him. I had the guy. I had Edgerrin James.
Another
piece.
beast.
Back in the
Yep.
day.
Another
Yep.
piece I think
Edgerrin
should be in the
James.
Hall of Fame.
His career was just a little too short.
You don't think he'll make it to the Hall of Fame? Because he's not in.
He would for me, my person, because
Okay.
almost everybody from the U making it to the Hall of Fame.
Has he been a finalist for Hall of Fame before?
I think he was a semifinalist.
Oh,
There was a guy that played with the Patriots back when I liked the Patriots, and he messed
You
up
like
his,
the Patriots?
when they had Drew Bledsoe.
Okay.
Curtis Martin?
No, he messed up his leg playing volleyball.
Oh, Robert Edwards. Played at Georgia. Yeah.
Robert Edwards, man, he was
Talking
gonna be nice, boy.
Robert. How about Robert Smith?
Robert Smith, he couldn't stay healthy.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
But when he was healthy,
Yeah, when he was healthy,
Yeah, he was
healthy
good.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen some great running backs, man, and it's really kind of weird because you look at it now, the position's kind of devalued.
Yeah.
Devalued as fuck.
You know,
That's
I
why
mean,
Zeke.
You see
having
Zeke, yeah,
Jerry Jones don't even know who Zeke is.
he gonna know week one when they take the L.
Yep.
Oh, they got Tony Pollard.
They got.
Okay.
They
Yeah, they got Mr. 40 million.
So who's Tony
Yeah.
Pollard? You gonna see it?
they
tomorrow.
open it up
know.
for against the Giants. That's a dub.
They're not gonna beat the Giants.
Without you don't think they can beat the Giants?
They should be able to beat the Giants.
They should beat the Giants.
Yeah, they
but
got a top
but
10 quarterback.
They probably won't because now you're gonna because here's the thing. It's when you don't have Zeke, you're asking Dak to do more, and I don't think that Dak at this point, even though like people said, Dak is gonna get paid, but I don't think
Right.
Dak is the quarterback. Can you come on a Sunday afternoon and say, Dak, give me 300 yards,
Nope.
3 touchdowns, no picks?
Nope.
He's not there yet.
Nope.
You can tell Brady that. You can tell Drew Brees that. You can tell. You might be able to tell Russell Wilson that.
Yep.
But
Well, Russell just he's never really had the offensive weapons around
Right.
him to
And he-
ask him of.
Right.
I think he have a virtuoso performance
Exactly.
to give you to
Exactly.
win. Yeah, but
Right.
I think you
can't-
can ask Dak to get you 302 touchdowns
When have you seen
for
Dak,
one game. For one game.
When have you seen Dak Prescott do that?
When he was going back and forth against Aaron Rodgers, his rookie year,
How many games has he done that?
it's probably less than 6.
Dak probably
you
has
give- you
less
name
than
him
5
one game.
300-yard
Hold on,
I
games.
just said one game. All I need is one game. We talking about one game.
Let's
Y'all
name
want to
the
go through the whole
quarterback.
season.
Let's name the quarterbacks that we can actually ask that from. Matt Ryan is one. Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
You said no
obviously.
picks.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 300 plus.
You gotta
yards.
take Matt Ryan off that list.
You
Take
tripping,
Matt
bro.
Ryan off
You
that list, bro.
tripping.
He's been
You
on
are
fantasy
tripping.
teams. I've
That's
seen
Matty
it.
Ice,
That's
man.
that's a
You
that's a
tripping.
former
done it
NFL
before.
MVP.
He's
Come
done
on,
it
Nick.
before.
Yeah,
He's done
you
it before.
tripping.
He's
So-
been on my fantasy squad twice.
So the Tom
Lied
Brady,
till he got me a ring.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers,
Drew
Drew
Brees,
Brees, Matt Ryan. I think you can
Andrew
ask,
Luck.
You can ask Luck to do that. I think you can. You know, I gotta pull up the team.
You asked Russell Wilson to do that.
Yeah, you can
You
ask
can
Russell.
ask him, but he might
For
not
300,
get it.
303
But
touchdowns?
He might not get it. He don't.
He might run. He might rush for 100 yards.
Yeah, I
He might throw for 250. He might run for 100.
And 75 plus yards.
there
That's
we-
it.
there you go.
With 2
That's
touchdowns
it.
and no
And that's a win.
turnovers. You know what I'm saying?
So
Because he don't have the wide receiver.
what I'm saying is
that.
the top tier quarterbacks can do that.
Ben.
And Ben, yeah.
Even though he might still give you 2.
He gonna give you 2 picks.
No. If he give you 3 touchdowns and no picks this week, he give you 1 touchdown, 4 picks next week.
right.
That's just
But the thing is that if you don't have Zeke, you're asking Dak to do
too
more.
much. Way too
and
much.
I'm assuming we'll find out in the coming weeks whether or not he gets his deal done. But I think that's a lot to ask.
They
man.
just paid.
They paid the linebacker. But I mean, that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And we know Jerry Jones. He's going to pay these guys. Now, how much he pays them, I'm not sure.
Well, then, so where does Zeke rank? Top 5? Is he in your top 5 list?
I got my top 5 right here.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, I can give you my.
Go ahead. Start at the bottom.
I got.
This is in order, or this is just naming them?
No, this is in order. At 5, I got Christian McCaffrey. 4, Todd Gurley.
Damn, he low.
Well, he's only low because Ken pointed out to us last year. We talked about it. Ken said it right on here. He's like, something's wrong with his knee. Yeah. And we, to this day, we still don't know what's wrong with his knee.
I don't even think he know.
No, he don't.
Something was wrong in the Super Bowl.
He trying to convince us, like, I'm good.
When you had to sign Mike Anderson, and again, like I said, you talked about it on here, and nobody.
C.J. Anderson.
I'm sorry. Good call. So yeah, I got him, Todd Gurley at 3. At 4. At 3, I got Le'Veon Bell.
And he's in your top 3?
He's in my top 3, and that's based off of what I saw him last do.
Come on.
I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I had to take him off the list because he ain't
because you ain't seen him last year.
Yeah, he ain't played. But here's the thing, he will be on the top 5 list next year.
Right.
Because he's just that type of back.
Right. So I actually had him tied at 3 with Saquon. So I got those two tied at 3. So he's kind of the X factor. 2 Alvin Kamara and then 1 Zeke Elliott.
Okay, so I could definitely say we have the same 5.
Okay.
Different order. So for me, I agree with you, Christian McCaffrey, number 5. Alvin Kamara, number 4. And the reason why I had to put him at number 4 is he's not enough of a runner. He's more of a receiver than he is runner. Obviously, he can run, but I think he's more of a threat as a receiver.
He will be this year with the other guy leaving. What was the other
Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram. He left to go to Baltimore.
Number 3, I got Zeke.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, I got him at 3 just because I think and I have to judge him based off of what I seen. Yes, in the playoffs and then in the Super Bowl, Todd Gurley wasn't that, but all year to me he was just a better overall back than Zeke, and that's not taking anything away from Zeke.
That's fair.
I just think Gurley just got a little bit more juice, just a little bit. He just got a little bit more juice to squeeze out of him. So I got Todd Gurley at number 2. Nick gonna like this. Number 1, Saquon. Saquon, and I again like Patrick Mahomes I did last year. I don't want to jump off the deep end too far, but he to me when I watch him play, he's a combination of Marshall Faulk and Barry Sanders, and that shit crazy as fuck, bruh. Because he can outrun you. He can give you a shoulder just because of the type of velocity he's coming with that he could hurt you. But you talking about running, jumping over people, fucking juking the hell out of you, grabbing a 2-yard pass and turning that into a 20, 30, 40-yard gain. I don't think there's nobody more explosive at the running back position right now. And I think a lot like Barry Sanders, it don't matter who the lineman is.
Right. That's my main point.
He's going to get his,
and that's my main point. Now, not only is one of his thighs about as big as B, that man, you can give him any. We can block for him. He gonna get 1,000 yards. Yep. And that's why I'm gonna start off. I'm glad you mentioned it because I was gonna obviously look hella biased. But I got Saquon at number 1. I got Zeke at number 2. I got Alvin Kamara at 3, McCaffrey at 4, and I got Gurley at 5.
Okay, fair.
Those are the top 5. Because if you add
I
anybody
love Nick
else,
Chubb.
huh?
He said Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb barely got 1,000 yards. Bro.
He didn't start for like 6 games, bro.
That's fine.
That's the case to add Derrick Henry into this motherfucking conversation.
Come on, man. We've seen Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry was going off of he had like a 4 or 5 game shots. He was getting up 250.
We've seen Derrick Henry over the last 2 or 3 years. We know what he is. Mm-hmm. But Nick Chubb is that dude.
Consistent. Nick Chubb is that guy.
Where is Nick Chubb on your list?
I want to put him there.
He ain't gonna get no touches this season.
I know that's him up putting Kareem Hunt on the
Nick Chubb
team.
is his Eddie Lacy.
Look, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Nick Chubb is way better than Eddie Lacy.
No, remember we had a review?
Yeah,
we did a review.
I remember that. I remember that.
He said Eddie Lacy.
He was going to bat for Eddie Lacy.
It's not my fault this man love Burger King.
Oh, my God. That was so funny.
Nah, he was in Wisconsin. He was eating hella Gouda.
I like Joe Mixon. But we'll get to the guys I like.
You can go 5, but 5 to 1, 1 to 5.
Trying to think of my order.
Mixon is
I'm
my
kind of
6.
like you with Le'Veon, man. I just don't know.
Yeah,
and that's concerning. That's concerning for me.
He's a top 5 back. He just didn't play.
Is.
He just didn't play. That's the only reason.
But is he though?
When he's playing, yeah, he is.
Now
In New York, he's going to be a top 5.
I think he can be because obviously they're going to rely on him a lot. And I think outside of Saquon, he is one of those backs that I feel that he's the most natural runner outside of Saquon. Because he hit holes and he's so patient with stuff. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
Like you just that's just in him.
I think he's just a natural playmaker.
I agree.
Like I think he can just be like, all right, I'm gonna go this and do that and do that. Like
I think that's what separates him.
All right. Le'Veon 5. I'm going to respect what I've seen. Christian McCaffrey 4.
Okay.
Gurley 3rd. Damn, hold on.
Man, you got this pregnancy.
No, wait. Alvin Kamara 3rd.
Okay.
Gurley 2nd. And Zeke 1st.
Okay.
So you don't even have Saquon on your list.
Saquon's not top 5.
All right, man. Cut his mic off. What's up, B?
How you not? Wait. Hold on, B. I don't want to be disrespectful. How do you
Go ahead,
have
B.
Saquon on
Ken
the
is the
list?
Russian judge.
Ken. Now you know this, right? Now you know this. It was
You had
rookie
Todd
year.
Gurley.
Hold on. Now you know this was Saquon's rookie year, right?
Behind that offensive line.
You know that he finished with the second most rushing touchdowns in the NFL, right? I mean, not touchdowns, yards. I'm sorry. And he's not top 5 when he's number 2 in rushing.
And I think he set the record for receiving yards. I mean, receptions for a running back.
Year.
You say career year.
Go ahead, B.
So you saying career year, Ken? Oh man, you tripping, man.
So this is
They call me disrespectful. They say I'm the disrespectful one.
He overrated.
Overrated?
He's overrated.
Oh my God.
Give him his just due.
All right.
All right, so number 5, I got Joe Mixon.
Oh, okay.
He's my 6. He was my 6.
Yeah.
And number
I couldn't
4,
say it. That's why.
and number 4, I got Chris McCaffrey. And number 3, I got Alvin Kamara. And number 2, I got Ezekiel Elliott. And number 1, I got Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Now, if I didn't put Le'Veon in, it would have been Joe Mixon.
Really?
You got Joe Mixon over.
Only reason why I didn't put Bell and Gurley in was because I think something's wrong with Gurley.
I feel you on that.
And Bell, I just didn't see nothing last year. So, but I agree with FIFO. If once he plays and he gets his touches this year, he's gonna be going into next year. He's gonna be top 5.
So what about
Bell?
Le'Veon.
Bell, yeah.
what about my man CD Styles in the chat room asked about Melvin Gordon?
Nah.
He's close. He's
top 10?
He's top 8.
He's close. He's
top
like
10.
6 or 7.
He's top 8 to
or
me.
something.
Is he playing
lower than
himself
8?
with this holdout?
Kind of, sort of.
He's lower than 8.
He's around there.
Who's better than him outside of the 5 we just mentioned? You said
Le'Veon and Joe. And then I could start to consider Melvin.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, he's 8 at number 8.
Nah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I
he's
can
lower than
argue
8?
that there's 1 or 2 maybe.
Okay.
I'll
got
put
you,
Nick
I got
Chubb over
right.
Melvin Gordon
No.
and Kareem Hunt.
I would exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not that high on Melvin even being top 10.
And Saquon
He might be
falling
right
at
outside.
10.
Why is Melvin not?
So you would have Melvin Gordon outside your top 10?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
Why is Melvin so low on your list when he's giving you production?
He is, but all right. First and foremost, if you don't have 1,100 to 100 yards, you're not top 5. That's the first cutoff. He had 880 some odd yards.
He got hurt.
Excuse. Okay, so you're not top 10.
He probably should be in camp too. Because this
Go cut
contract, he's not Zeke, so this contract thing might not go the way he's thinking it's going.
No, it's not gonna go Le'Veon. Like he's not gonna just sit out and get paid the next year. I think he'll get into a better situation.
Man, nobody even talking about Melvin
No,
Gordon.
they not.
Because Zeke is doing a holdout too.
But Melvin Gordon is they still should be talking about Melvin Gordon.
They've mentioned him.
They haven't
They talk
talked
more
about
about Josh Gordon than Melvin Gordon.
Yes. They haven't talked about Melvin Gordon since he announced his holdout and demanding a trade.
Dang.
That was the
They're like,
last
okay.
time he been in the headlines.
And you know what? And here's the thing: the Chargers. I honestly don't think that they don't care if he come back. Or
The
not.
Chargers treating him like Pam with Martin. They said peace.
Well, because they did well without him last
Yep.
year, and
They don't need
they
him.
went far. You know, and I
They
mean,
don't
you
need
gotta know that you only have but so much of Phillip Rivers. You know, so
What
Yeah,
about
they got to start drafting another quarterback.
what you say,
what
B?
about Kerryon Johnson?
Oh, he's good. He's outside the top 10, but he's good.
He is good.
Y'all
There's a
just
lot of
naming-
hype coming in behind him too.
Y'all naming some Neanderthal niggas now, bro.
You just don't be paying. You just don't be paying attention.
He played at Auburn.
You don't be following the sport.
I follow. I'm just saying, there's certain niggas you don't need to mention.
No, you gotta show love to some of the up and comers,
He's good.
man.
He's good.
His second year, you know, he had a
Is
solid.
AP still top 10?
Yes. No, I'm
Right
No.
outside.
He was
over-
balling
right
for
outside.
He's over
skins.
1,000 yards.
He
but
was
you would
balling for the-
see it and then you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looked like an old ass nigga. out
Yeah,
there
yeah,
playing
yeah,
football.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
But
he
he would
looked
still
like.
break off for like a 100-yard
But
game.
he looked like an old ass nigga playing football.
But I tell you what, you ain't gonna run up on him.
Hell no, you're not.
Hell no, you're not.
He still got
Nah,
that work.
niggas
for
run
you.
up on it now, say where my money at.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so what are some running backs you guys kind of going back to what you were asking earlier? What are some running backs that's on your radar that's under your microscope?
Le'Veon, because obviously he took that year off, so I feel he has to prove his place in the league, and that's the only reason why I kept him out of the top 5. Because you were, and skillfully he is, but you just got to prove.
I'm worried about that line. And the Jets. I'm just worried about the Jets. I wonder if he's Santonio Holmes. I wonder if and even though Eddie Sanders, whatever his name was, Emmanuel Sanders had some good years, he just wasn't the same when he was in Pittsburgh. Like, man, when you have the chemistry, the camaraderie that you had with your line, and they know how to block for you and set up certain blocks, it makes a difference, man. It makes a difference.
You know who else I'm looking?
I was gonna say, I don't know if this might be the same person. I'm looking at Joe Mixon because he led the AFC in rushing like the last half of the season. Number 2 is someone who was projected to be one of the top 5 running backs. Well, at least last season, Leonard Fournette. I'm trying to see what's going on with him.
He's on my list.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Leonard Fournette. Somebody else, Tevin Coleman. Because now obviously you're out of Dante Freeman's shadow. It's your own show.
But he's
over
in
there in
the,
San
I
Fran.
was gonna mention him, but I'm like, he's with the Niners. That line is horrible. I don't know what he's gonna do with
True, but look, let's not underestimate Kyle Shanahan. Let's not.
How many years we gonna say that? How many years we gonna say that, Kyle?
Well,
This is gonna be the last year because he probably can't find it.
No.
Ain't he up on his deal? Ain't he up on his deal now?
Look, what's his name? Who hard-hitting safety from Tampa Bay? That's their GM.
Oh,
John Lynch.
John Lynch.
John Lynch. John Lynch ain't going nowhere off of no damn Kyle Shanahan. Look, at the end of the day, as a coach, you still need guys. You need bodies to go play. And at quarterback, you only have one guy that's highly paid at that position. And what is Kyle Shanahan known for? Quarterback guru. Look at Matt Ryan's numbers under Kyle Shanahan, bro. Like Kyle Shanahan is the truth.
Yeah, but Matt Ryan was good before Kyle Shanahan. He
elevated
made
Matt
him
Ryan.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, so if you have a quarterback,
And he hasn't been the same since, has he?
No, he had a great season last year.
He ain't looked like he did when Kyle was there.
But he still had a great season.
Don't matter.
Well,
Ryan
he-
is good.
both
That's
he
what
and
I'm-
Shanahan
but
threw the
he-
Super Bowl. So
Who?
I mean, Ryan and Shanahan threw the Super Bowl. So I mean, what are you saying?
that's another.
That's what I'm saying.
conversation.
We
That's
can't.
another
Hey, Kyle,
conversation.
this is what
The
they like to
wound
do.
still hurts.
They like to talk about. They give credit for one thing, but then you use that same thing for the
I
other.
mean,
argument.
I would never, ever
That's what I
forgive
think when I
Kyle
think of
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
But you talking about he a
for that
quarterback
Super Bowl.
guru and he busted the
Well,
Super
I
We're not
Bowl.
talking
Well-
about that game.
To FIFO's
Damn, look at you, angry as hell
I
now.
know, right? To FIFO's point, yeah, Tevin Coleman is going to be interesting to see what he does because he's going to have to be somebody that's going to take the pressure off of Jimmy G because you don't want Jimmy G dropping back and having to throw for 400 yards.
And
Just shell shock.
And then
He
here's
can
the thing
catch.
too, right? Like obviously Tevin Coleman has familiarity with
Right,
that offense.
right.
That is a good point. I
You know what I'm
forgot
saying?
about
So him coming in, Tevin Coleman has the size and the speed, and
He's
he
a
has the
dope running
hands too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Kyle Shanahan can utilize him in a lot of ways to bring that pressure off of Jimmy G. That's why I have to look. You know, because if he doesn't perform, then it was like, okay, well, what was it in Atlanta? Was it because you were
and that's
behind?
the thing. That's the thing that you always wonder about. You're like, okay, you always like the second guy.
Yep.
What happens when you're the
The
main
guy.
guy?
Right,
You're the
right.
guy.
Exactly.
Now you're the guy getting the touches.
Exactly.
Can you be the guy that we depend on week in and week out?
And going a little bit to the left, you know the number one person that I watched in football that always wanted to be the guy that when he became the guy, he realized he didn't want to be the guy?
Who's that?
Peerless Price.
Ooh.
Remember Eric Moulds?
Yeah, I remember.
Buffalo?
Yeah.
And Eric Moulds was but he
Eric
wasn't
Moulds
the
was
strongest and
legit.
fastest, but he was legit. Throw the ball his way, he gonna go get it. Peerless like, man, he ain't nothing.
He became a number one and couldn't handle it.
Came to Atlanta and see what happened. Nothing. So sometimes be careful what you wish for.
Anybody you looking at, Kyle?
I mentioned him, Kamara, because with Mark Ingram leaving, a lot's gonna fall on him. And I mean, like, can he? I know he can carry the load, but I mean, he's in that offense. He's scary.
Hold on, they signed another back. Who was it? It was actually a pretty good back. Hold on, let me look at that.
But they, with the way Sean Payton runs that offense and everything, and I mean, one of the reasons why you saw New Orleans play as well as they did last year is because they didn't ask Drew Brees to throw for 40 times a game. They cut his attempts down. So it was like they were more balanced. They probably more balanced last year than they had ever been in this run that Sean Payton's had. So I'm interested to see how that plays out if they're going to go to that even more, because as Drew Brees is getting older, again, you don't want him throwing the ball 40 times a game.
You don't want him exposed like that. No. And then also, I don't know about y'all, but his deep ball ain't the same.
He's kind of falling off a little bit. He's kind of falling off a little bit.
And, the same arm
for what it's worth, what happened with that bad call and everything like that, I mean, the Saints still had the ball. I mean, it was a terrible
And that's the
call.
second time in the year that they've got that close and lost on some bullshit.
And I don't know how you overcome that. Because
they looking like Buffalo.
It sticks with you. So I'm interested to see what Kamara does. And I think if he balls out this year, Kim, he's going to be in the same position that Zeke is in now.
Yeah. They're not going to pay him?
He's going to want to get paid.
We don't know if they're going to pay him.
Because he's still on his rookie deal, right?
And that's the thing where the NFL plays into the running back position, what we talked about with Zeke, wherein if you're on your rookie deal, they'll run the hell out of you.
This is the best time to use you.
They're going to use you up. And then those carries and all of that punishment and stuff that you take, that counts against you when it comes time for you to negotiate your contract.
And they can franchise you twice.
Yeah, they can franchise you. And then so when you're 26, 27, they're like, oh, well, you're on the downside of your prime. That's the only position where they tell you you're on the downside of your prime. If you're 27, 28 years old and you're a quarterback, you're coming into your prime.
Or wide receiver.
Yeah, because they expect you to play longer. But
so I got two backs.
I prefer you might say something. Might say one of mine. James Conner from Pittsburgh.
He's one of them.
I'm not worried about him for some reason.
I'm looking at him though because now now that all the drama going, he got a full training camp.
He got to step up. Yep. You got to be that 1,200-yard back.
Yep. Got to be that 1,200-yard back now.
Because he got to pass last year.
Yeah.
You got to pass last year.
He did.
The whole Le'Veon
the drama,
thing. You could ball for Le'Veon's backup.
Right.
You're the guy now,
Now
bro.
you're the guy now. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at.
I don't think he gets 1,200.
That's what I'm looking at. We don't know.
That's why I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah.
Who's your other one? You got another one?
I just had him. He was definitely my guy.
Devin Cook.
Yeah.
Remember I said remember what I was saying? I think he was a
beast
bust.
at
I think he's a bust.
Yeah.
Because and the reason why I had to look at Dalvin Cook, we know what Kirk Cousins is. He's Tony Romo 2.0. That's what Kirk Cousins
Might be
is.
worse than that.
he's a legend at the bank.
He is. Obviously, they got their triplets. They got Thielen. They got a quarterback that is above the fray.
Right.
And now, Dalvin,
bro,
they waiting on you.
Can he stay on the field?
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Because the talent, I think, is there. He just has to stay healthy.
But he hasn't produced at a above average pace.
Because he hasn't had a chance.
Because he's a bust.
The way he needed to.
No, I wouldn't say he's a bust. He's been hurt.
But this is the year. This is the year. You have to prove your worth.
And Latavius Murray, he's with Saints now. So he should get.
Oh, that's who it is, Latavius Murray.
That's what they picked up. So it makes sense because he's kind of like Mark Ingram.
Okay.
But yeah, now that Dalvin Cook don't have that.
He's a solid back too.
Yeah.
And where did Mark Ingram go?
He
Ravens.
Yeah, he went to Baltimore.
Yeah, he done.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Sony Michel. I think he's legit, man.
No, he is. I was just gonna say I don't know if we can expect more than what he's
the Pats not gonna use. The Pats ain't gonna use him like that.
I beg to differ.
They like James. They got James White. They got who's the other guy?
They do the running back by committee.
Yeah, they don't focus
when they
on.
don't have running back.
Yeah, but Sony has separated himself from that running back.
He's good at goal. Like if he fantasy wise, he'll get the goal line.
Just
like LeGarrette Blunt did.
Yeah.
LeGarrette Blunt didn't get 1,000 yards, but he had like 10 touchdowns.
But remember when they had what was the running back they had? The Patriots had that was the primary running back.
Was it James White?
Nah, Brady's early years.
You talking about Deion Branch?
Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon.
Yeah.
Corey Dillon, man. When they got a guy, and they'll use him. Yeah, when they got a guy, they'll use him. So I'm just curious to see what they do with him.
Yeah, so Sony Michel
The
931 yards.
The Zoom.
So he right there. An extra 300 yards. Let me see how many attempts he had. He had only 209 attempts.
Wow.
And 931 yards.
Who was that?
Sony Michel.
That's interesting.
209 attempts. I think that if he can get into the 280s,
Yeah.
300s, low 300s, like the more elite type, because
And don't forget, he was hurt. He was banged up last year, too.
Saquon had 261 attempts. Todd Gurley had 256. Joe Mixon 237. Chris Carson 247. So he needs to be in that 250 range.
Chris Carson
slept on. Yeah,
yeah.
But that's the thing. Seattle has a committee
Ken's
too.
waving them all. You don't like Ken?
They do.
And Russell is a part of that.
They just gave him the ball. He just run. He just died for it.
And I think they were one of the top rushing teams last year.
I think they were.
That's what they do.
They were the number one.
They don't have running backs, but they're gonna keep running the ball.
I mean, but Russell Wilson has no receivers.
He
Like
does.
his number
got
one
the,
is Lockett.
kid from
He
Ole
hurt.
Miss.
He hurt.
But you can't. You're not going. You're not going to depend on a rookie.
Knee. He's having surgery. They say he'll be back.
You're not going to depend on a rookie.
He got that. Like, when was that recent? Like, because I heard he got hurt. Obviously, when he first got drafted and stuff, he was still dealing with some stuff. But he got hurt
This
again.
is something they got to clean out his knee. I think they expected him to be back for
The last
start
guy I
season.
have, he was a top 5 back a few years ago. David Johnson. Is it over for him? Did he have?
He had 1,000 yards.
Was it a career year for him, like it was for Saquon?
He had a low key.
940.
He had 940. I thought he had 1,000 yards.
Off of 200.
That's a good point, Ken, and I'm interested to see how it goes, particularly in this offense, because it's a little different when you're running. I mean, with Murray, they're going to run a lot from the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
That's a total different ball game for a running back because you're
That
not.
draw.
You're not. You're actually limited to some degree into what you can run.
Can he pass block? That's the
I mean, he
thing.
can pass block, but he's a horse, or at least that's what you think he is, and you don't want. Their offensive line is terrible. So you don't want Kyler Murray. He's already small already. You don't want him taking shots. So I'm interested to see if they can, because the little bit of their preseason that I never saw Murray under center. So I'm interested.
They're saying that
he's going to be exclusively shotgun.
Yep.
So then that negates some of what David Johnson does. So,
But he wasn't doing shit since that big
but
season.
you're going to need him though.
But he was hurt though. Don't forget he was hurt.
He had a hand injury. He ain't hurt.
What did he play? He was hurt, man.
It was a hand injury, man.
He didn't play, bro. Yeah,
but here's the thing: what the Cardinals running exclusive shotgun formations is that you could still gash a defense running.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Alexander.
Yep.
Right? Remember when Sean Alexander broke a whole bunch of rushing touchdown records?
Yeah.
The majority of his rushing touchdowns came out of shotgun formation.
And he never looked like he was good to me.
No, he
But
didn't.
he produced.
He got a lot of production.
He produced. And in those Seattle years, again, the majority of his rushing touchdowns came out of shotgun formation. So it can be done, especially if it utilized Kyler Murray's feet as a weapon. If you run,
You want him running?
You have to have the threat of him running. For that to work, the threat of, I'm not saying that he needs to be Lamar Jackson 15, 20 planned runs or even
RPOs.
Carolina. Cam Newton. You can't do that with him, but you need to have 5 design runs for Kyler Murray a game. Or if not, that offense is not going to work. You have to have 5 design runs and 3 or 4 that's just off
Does that say more about the system or more about the quarterback?
A little bit both.
A little bit of both, yeah. And
to
it's
me-
going to be interesting because that's a college system. Can this college system work? And then once it starts working, when opposing defenses figure it out and get tape on it, can you adjust?
Yep.
To me,
Yep.
he could be in that conversation of a DAP quarterback. Dumbass pick. Because you gotta look at all the shit you gotta do for this nigga. Like
No, but no, 100%. This is the biggest boomer bust.
Yeah.
In this draft, biggest boomer because if he booms, because look, we seen the arm talent, bro. He can put the ball where he
can make
wants
the
it,
throws.
and he can get it downfield however he wants it. The feet, elite. His feet are elite. His quickness, because I don't think he has straight line speed, but he got short area bursts, and he can get out of trouble. He is the biggest boomer bust because if he can play and he figures it out and he can read the defenses, I don't know how you stop him.
I've definitely come around on that arm placement because I saw a pass he threw.
No, I'm not.
I
It's not.
told you.
It's not.
I told you. And here's the thing: like as a short quarterback, one being myself, you got to understand how to throw through lanes. You can't just be your prototypical nah, bro. You have to get creative. Even look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees gets creative when he has to throw from in the pocket, even from shotgun position. Kyler has that.
But look at the division he playing in too.
No, I feel
they
you.
gonna come at his ass.
But you know what though? What's better than playing in that division? Because now when you go and you play outside of your division, that shit should be practice, bro.
And you're the number one quarterback.
Not with that line.
With the division you in.
And that's why I said that's partly both, that you have to set up the run and he's going to have to run by himself. Because you have to get him out of harm's way. You got to move him. You got to move.
That's what I was gonna say. The only way
pocket.
he has to be
You
able
gotta
to
move
skirt
the
up.
pocket.
A lot of play action boots.
Yeah. Because you have to make Kyler Murray a moving target. Because if that man's stationary, bro, in that division, if he and like I said on the last one, he's so small. It's gonna take one hit.
Yeah, that's
Let
it.
Avontes Burfict hit this man like straight up, bruh. Yeah. It might be a wrap for him.
Or that hit. Who was that? The guy hit. There was a highlight going around. Was it Kirk Cousins? It was on Twitter this week. Flacco.
Damn!
Was it
I
Flacco?
tweeted it out.
Yeah, you tweeted it. He got laid out.
It was the backup quarterback for. I have to look at it.
Man, if he get hit like that,
It might be a wrap.
they gonna
take his helmet out.
They gonna knock him back to college.
No, they gonna knock him to baseball. He gonna get off. He like, I'm gonna take my helmet off. I'm going. Where the jersey at?
Gonna be like, mama. Yeah, man. And at the end of the day, though, I understand why you
Paxton Lynch. That's what it was.
Paxton Lynch.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta see it. Let me see. You
Man.
got it.
Why- How is he still in the league?
White.
Woo!
For the Seahawks.
No, I'm just playing.
He's out for the season.
No. I said for the Seahawks, Paxton Lynch for the Seahawks. Yeah, he got.
I think the
Oh,
Broncos.
his-
That's what you call ear hold.
Hey, he looked like Stretch Armstrong. And he saw his ass that day. Bro. He saw his ass. Ooh.
I think the Broncos ruined Paxton Lynch.
I like,
I'm
but
not sure.
I like that.
I'm not sure how good Paxton Lynch ever was.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
I don't know.
No,
how
he
good
only got
ever
that
was.
because he was when I was Brock Osweiler, he was roommates with what's his name, John Elway's kid. But I like that Drew Lock pick though.
Where did he go?
Missouri.
No.
He went to
NFL.
Denver.
Denver.
I like
Yeah.
the Drew Lock pick.
Kind of like,
I mean, they're rookie quarterbacks, man.
Marginal.
No, I'm saying like he needs time, but I like what I've seen, so I can see like if he gets a good line.
And
the
I'm not
coach-
saying that you're wrong. I don't put anything into him until I see live bullets.
I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. Especially from the quarterback position. I'm not saying early on you have to be productive, but there has to be one thing that jumps off that screen.
Yeah.
One thing. Drew Lock don't have that for me. Daniel Jones don't have that for me.
Poise for both of them, in my opinion.
I give you the poise with Jones. I give you that. I give you that. Cause seeing him, and again, it's preseason. He didn't seem flustered at all. It seemed like he'd been there before.
Yeah.
So I give you.
He does stare down his targets though. I'll give you that.
But that's most young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
You can learn out of that. I'm not worried about that. What I'm most concerned about with some of these young quarterbacks this year is that none of them have one thing that jumps off the screen for me. Kyler Murray does. The arm and the feet.
What about not even Haskins? Haskins got a good arm.
He has a powerful arm, but you have to know how to use that power in the NFL. Because you can't just throw through every window you think you can throw through, especially when you're young like that.
Yeah.
And he's not accurate.
and I haven't seen that with, as much as I love Haskins, I'm just going to keep it real. I haven't even seen that with him yet. I saw one good throw.
I was gonna
Yeah, I
say
did too.
his
Yeah.
accuracy.
Yeah.
He got arm because he was even overthrowing receivers.
He
and so.
has arm, but his arm talent don't jump off the screen.
Yeah.
Like it just don't. Like Deshaun Watson, when he came into the league, it was like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
He just
Oh,
staring
yeah.
down his receiver, doing rookie shit. But there was a couple of plays you're like, whoa, you can't teach that.
Yeah, and then
He's
then
special.
when you factor in the weather too, when you got guys like Haskins and Jones that are playing in cold weather places,
Yep.
that ball it
Yep.
travels.
Oh yeah, Watson
different.
got
It's a
drafted
whole
to a
different-
great place. He got nothing.
Yeah.
He got
It travels differently
Florida,
when it
and
gets
he got
cold,
two
man. When it gets cold,
guaranteed,
it's a whole nother. And I mean, even like with Jones playing in Meadowlands is windy.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that arm.
Yeah, you gotta have. So
he's playing in the worst.
You gotta be able to cut it.
He is
division.
That's the worst stadium to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
Kyle, what you think about Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
Overrated.
Yeah, kind of overrated. I mean, I won't say he's overrated. I think he had a pretty decent season, but I think just like anything else, he had his ups and downs. Year 2, you should see more improvement. With them getting dope running back. He's got decent receivers, but he needs a playmaker. Everybody needs a number one. If you don't have a number one, you're gonna suck in the league. I don't care where you are. So if they can draft him a number one receiver, he'll be okay. But
or even like a safety blanket tight end.
Yeah.
So somebody that he can rely on, like, okay, it all broke down. Let me just throw it over here. He can go get it.
So I won't say he's overrated. I think he had his moments last year, but this is gonna be the test. But I mean, in a division where he
should easily get 6 games.
Yeah.
He should.
And I mean, for what it's worth, the Jets always play the Patriots tough. They don't beat them, but they play them tough. So but
especially when you got Fitz in his division now too.
It's Magic. That's your boy, ain't it?
He was last season. He getting paid still as starting court. He's a starting QB.
Where's he at?
He's in Miami.
Well, who was in Miami? Oh, Rosen.
No, Tannehill. Tannehill got traded to the Titans.
Yeah. And Rosen's there now.
But I'm saying Rosen's there. I thought Rosen would be the starter. So Rosen can't beat out old ass Fitzpatrick?
Nope.
He'll play, but he's not. Rosen not looking good, bro.
And here's the thing with the Dolphins. Like, if you play Madden, you just look at their rating compared to everybody else, that roster is atrocious. Even if Drew Rosen, right, that's his name?
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen. Even if he was the guy, I would have put him out there.
That's true.
Because you're literally putting them out there to the wolves. Like, they can't protect.
Well, you know what the word
thing.
was? The word was that before they traded for Rosen was that they were going to look to tank the season so they could draft Tua from Alabama.
It don't matter if they traded for him or not. They still can draft Tua.
No, the thing about
Hey, they got a brother head coach, man. We need him to win.
I know we do.
We need him to win.
It's
Brothers don't be
Arizona.
sticking around long.
This is Arizona's mistake being passed around in the league. Because they took him. Didn't they trade
I
up
don't know if
together?
it was a
They did.
mistake. I think they just saw something else they wanted more.
Everybody said, this nigga ain't it.
Nah, I think people.
They said he was talented, but his personality and stuff is just not going to work.
But right now, we're not questioning his personality. His talent
Right.
is being questioned.
Look, here's the thing about professional sports. Can you play or not? That's the first question.
Yeah, can you play?
Then all of that extraness, the baggage, the personality, the emotion, then we know how to deal with that. Because if you
Let me introduce you to Josh Gordon.
Exactly.
Right.
Because if you're talented as hell, it don't matter the emotional baggage.
Don't matter.
But if you're mediocre, miss practice one day. Be late twice. See what happens. You out of here.
Have you met Antonio Brown?
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't read too much
That
into the
dude.
personality stuff because part of the issue that people have with Josh Rosen is that Josh Rosen comes from a family that has money. So the last thing the NFL wants, to be honest, is somebody that comes from money.
Yep.
Because you don't need money. Because most of the players are playing for money. So if you come from money and you don't need that money, you ain't gonna bust your ass for the money.
Real quick, it's news right now. Ty Lue has reached an agreement with the LA Clippers to become the top assistant coach on Doc Rivers' staff.
Shout out to Doc. He always
I thought LeBron was gonna get him.
getting the brothers some jobs.
LeBron ain't got
they
no
already
pull
got
no more,
Kid
man.
and Hollins.
LeBron can't get Melo a job.
LeBron,
He can't get
there's
Ty
only
Lue.
one person with pull in LA. Her name ends with bus.
That's crazy.
That's
LeBron
all it
losing the
is.
juice, man.
He's
What's
not
up?
bigger than the Laker brand.
Nah,
bro.
he's not.
Nobody is.
He's not.
Nobody is.
Neither is
He thought he
Magic.
was. until
Yep.
that
Neither
miracle.
is
So look,
Magic.
if-
That's a good point. Yeah.
If Magic isn't, Shaq isn't, Kobe isn't, and Kareem isn't,
Wow.
Who the
LeBron
fuck?
ain't.
Yeah. Who are
Sad
you?
Dan Lakerland, man.
Yeah. Oh man. But shout out to Doc, man.
Yeah, but good for the Clippers.
Still,
they-
still gonna lose to the Lakers.
I'm about to
No,
say
they're
if they
not.
don't
You
if they don't
just-
win it
they're
all
not.
this year,
They're
then
not.
that,
Hey, look. Look.
they say a
The
lot about
battle
Doc.
of LA is gonna be good.
What
It
battle?
It's
What?
the
Ain't
two
no- ain't no-
teams that
Ain't
share
no-
the stadium.
there's no a battle means that there's two competitors that are damn near equal.
I didn't say they were equal. I think
I'm
top to
thinking
bottom, I think the Clippers have a better team.
They're gonna sweep them in the
Well, it
regular
ain't gonna
season.
matter. What we hope to see is to see them in the playoffs head to head. That would be dope.
That would be dope, but I don't even think.
So wait, hold on. Explain yourself, Mr. Disrespect, because I need to understand.
With everything about the Lakers this season is a best case scenario, and it's already that's already coming off track because Boogie's injury changes a lot of things. I think going into the season, a lot of people had high expectations because it's LeBron year 2. We're getting AD or we got AD, and everybody was happy about that. We just got to fill out the rest of the roster. Well, they're realizing that when you break it down, everybody on that roster outside of LBJ and AD is peanuts.
Of course, but
so it's like so you one injury away from either one of those guys, and they're both injury prone.
Just called his boy peanuts, right?
Oh, Kuzma?
No. Well, I thought you were talking about Rondo. But, like, right now, I mean, peanuts as far as he's not going to take you deep into the playoffs. He might not even take you to the playoffs.
So this is where
I'm going to remember you said Kuzma was peanuts.
I said the roster.
Kuzma on the roster.
He's part of the roster, but I still like him. But he can't do it. Like, if we're relying on Kuzma to take us to the promised land, the season's done. You know what I'm saying?
Here's why I disagree with you. AD is one of the biggest mismatches in the NBA. AD just hasn't had the ability to perform on that level of platform yet because he couldn't do it himself. As great as talented as he is, he couldn't elevate. LeBron had an aberration. I don't expect for him to miss the same type of time due to injury. If he has an injury, I don't expect it to take him out 2 months.
Right.
I don't. Like,
but when you old,
that's what I'm saying. You never know.
Shit,
you never know.
Yeah,
me and LeBron bro in the same year, bro. Same year. 84. He about to be 35. I've been 35.
When you old,
so
the body just feel different.
It does. However, we know load management. Mm-hmm. We know that team, right? They're all pretty much dependent players outside of AD and LeBron. But this is gonna give. So the Battle of LA. Let me just fast forward over there. The Battle of LA. Who do the Clippers have that matches up with AD?
They don't have anybody match up with AD.
Right now.
They don't have nobody. And they're not going to get anybody.
No, they're not going to get anybody.
Because the only other person that they may add is Andre Iguodala. That's all for Bron. They got the 3 best defenders against LeBron James.
But they're not looking to match up with AD.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it don't really matter for that point.
I mean, they'll throw a big body out there, but I mean, they're not trying to match up with him.
No, of course not. But we know this, right? We've seen the last 10 championships.
Yep.
We know LeBron is the great equalizer. It don't matter what you got on your side of the court. LeBron neutralizes and equalizes everything.
He was that.
He's still that.
He was that.
I don't think.
Can he neutralize Kawhi?
Yes.
Yeah. Did we not see that? How many times did y'all post that video?
Do you understand what neutralize means? I didn't say outplay.
Right.
I didn't say he's gonna cheat all over.
Who's that? Who does Mark Jackson always talk about? Mama, there goes that man. What did LeBron say when Kawhi came in when they was the Miami Heat Spurs? He was like, "Goddamn,
I feel that.
Mama, there go that man."
And I'm giving Kawhi his just due.
Right.
Kawhi is top 3 in the league, top 5 in the league, however you want to frame it. You know what I'm saying?
Some people have him at 1.
All I'm saying
I was going to say he's top. He's not 2 and he's not 3. That's what I'll say right now.
All I know is that LeBron neutralizes whatever you want to do. And then if we're going to say that he can neutralize the PG and Kawhi, the difference now is AD. And
he's neutralizing both of them?
They both going to take cracks at him.
But he's neutralizing both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Hell no.
I'm interested to see how this plays out because I just don't know where LeBron is defensively.
Because
he just defensively
suspect last year.
He's done. The age. That's the age.
That's the age.
That's
the first thing that goes.
And I think the only thing, my only question is, I know you had touched on it before in the podcast. Like, you know what you're gonna get from AD. You know what you're gonna get from LeBron. Mm-hmm. The rest of that roster, I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah. The Clippers,
the peanut crew.
For what it's worth, we saw the Clippers push, Golden State to 6 games, and they really, on paper, they probably should have been swept.
And who's on the bench gonna match Lou Williams?
On paper, they shouldn't have made the playoffs.
They should have been swept. The Golden State was messing around with them, man.
I don't know if they was messing around.
They took them lightly.
They did.
KD had to come out and say, "You know who I am."
Right.
They did not take him lightly, bro.
They took them lightly, man.
So Golden State disrespected them.
Yep.
Clippers showed them, don't
Don't
disrespect
disrespect
me.
us, and go to
But
say
it
like,
is what it
oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
what
so
we doing.
but at this
what we
point,
doing.
I wouldn't favor. I would not favor the Lakers over the Clippers.
No,
I'm
not at
sorry.
all.
No, I'm not.
But Vegas
I'm
had
not.
them. I think they have them.
Vegas
as a
always
bigger
be-
But I think
favorite,
that was before DeMarcus got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah,
Then-
that
now,
didn't-
now
that didn't mess
question,
up-
were y'all?
that didn't
Was
really-
anybody expecting a lot from Boogie?
No, that's what I'm saying. That
I mean,
Vegas line
I
didn't
wasn't.
change for that.
I was hurt that he got hurt.
I mean,
though.
I'm
I was
sad he
like,
got
damn.
hurt, but
I
I
was
was
expecting a double-double.
no.
15 and 10.
Yeah,
Early?
You said you were expecting?
Yeah.
I was
15
expecting
15 and
a double-double.
9.
I was
you know,
I
expecting-
was expecting like
around
what he gave to
Yeah.
Golden State.
10 and 8.
I was expecting by the end of the year we'll see 3/4 of Boogie. I thought he was going to play himself back.
Yeah,
into
yeah,
And
yeah.
here's the
Me
thing.
too.
I slightly disagree with the point that if you saw physically what he turned himself into, I thought he was going to start off the season that way.
He looked
Yeah.
like he was in good shape though.
He looked like he was ready
Yeah.
to go.
Oh, you talking
body-
about?
Pounds
But I
lighter.
agree. His body, he slimmed down a lot, and,
Yeah.
he's been obviously conditioning because he wants to get back. But his body's just
But
not
this
agreeing
is
with
the,
him.
and this is the same leg, right?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's the same-
I don't
it's
know
the
if
same
it's the same leg.
So there's a
Damn.
YouTube channel.
It's a wrap.
I can't remember the name. I never remember his name. But it's a white boy that he's actually a doctor, and he just talks about sports injuries on his YouTube channel. He grew quick. And when I first started following him, he was like 10, 15,000. He's like almost 100,000 subscribers now. But he's super dope. And he was talking about with the Boogie injury, it's called the kinetic chain. Because first, obviously, he tore the Achilles, and then the quad, and now the knee. All of that stuff is connected. So he even says he doesn't know if Boogie can get back to the level he once was
Well,
at.
I don't think nobody's expecting that.
But I think the saddest part, I think even more than Isaiah Thomas, because Boogie was legit. Isaiah Thomas was a year.
Right.
Boogie, from the moment he came, was 20, 15, and 5 or 4. And what a bad team. And then when he went to a decent team that was on the up and up, he still put up them numbers, and he looked better. So he was one of those guys that was not empty stats. He was the guy, he was supposed to get $200 million contract.
Yeah, you know that money issue.
Man.
Is
But
probably,
at least he got paid from Sacramento.
Yeah.
Isaiah
but
Thomas never got paid.
But I
yeah,
think
but
the-
I mean, but Boogie still he was looking at
generational
He was-
wealth.
no, he was-
He just
Yeah.
rich now.
And so now he's looking at just this $3 million deal, and then whatever he gets from and I mean, like he even admitted to Rachel Nichols during the playoffs that he contemplated retirement. This was on the quad injury. So I'm like,
And
mentally, can
on
he
top
come
of
back
that,
from this?
He turned down that 2-year, $40 million deal with the Pelicans to bet on himself to go to Golden State.
yeah.
It's just sad, man.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like we've talked about Boogie the Man, but I just feel like as a fan we've been robbed, man,
Yeah.
of just seeing a guy
An
that-
elite big.
Yes.
Yeah,
Top 3
man.
big in the NBA.
Yes.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
he was
right.
doing it all. We
was-
thought
yeah.
Embiid was bad. Like he was doing all of that as a big wide guy.
Yeah, he's just not 7'1", 2.
Yeah.
So how you feel about Lakers looking at Dwight Howard?
Bad.
That's all they got. That's all they got.
Proceed with
hold on.
caution.
Him and Mo Spates.
Yo, hey,
Nah, they don't
look,
need-
look,
nah,
you can
let
go
him-
get Kenneth Fareed. There's a lot of other guys that can go get you.
Kenneth
what
Free is available?
Yeah, he's
I ain't know
free
that.
agent.
I ain't know
You
that.
go
There's a
get
lot of
Nene.
other guys that can do what Dwight Howard does today.
Yeah.
Like Orlando Dwight, not a lot of centers can do that.
Right.
But Dwight today, and here's the thing, man.
Hold on, let me look at his numbers. You might be.
I'm not a fan of Dwight simply because of the reports of what you see that happens in the locker room. He is divisive.
Yeah.
And he's one of these people that have never been able to accept his role.
And you know how LeBron is. LeBron
You gotta play your role.
Yeah.
Man.
And you know what?
He ain't gonna put up with no
Lillard
shit.
talks about it too, because Dame says you gotta be a star player in your role.
Yeah.
And not everybody is gonna get 30 points a game. Not everybody's gonna get the 2-3 blocks, 20 rebound games. Bro, if we need you, and that's Melo's problem. If we need you to play 12 minutes,
He ain't not to
dive for
mention
the
him.
ball,
Right.
and take 2 shots a game, that's what we need you
Right.
to do.
You do,
and
yeah.
we need you to cheerlead.
Yep.
Dwight mentally has not taken that regression back to role player. You know, they're talking also about Joakim Noah. I like Joakim Noah better.
Yeah.
Because Joakim Noah has always been a role player. Joakim Noah has always been a dog. Joakim Noah is going to leave it all out there. You ain't got to ask me to do
So
that.
that's
That's
not
not
smart
extra for
defensively.
But
and he's smart.
But
Yeah.
you're going against your point as far as who would you say is more talented right now, Joakim Noah or Dwight Howard?
Joe
Kim?
Kim.
I would disagree.
Why?
Well,
Wait, no, I got this one.
I'm looking at his stats right now.
Stats don't always show everything,
It
right?
don't.
Not
They
with
really
Joakim.
don't.
Joe Kim
They really
has
don't.
more skill and he's better chemistry-wise. Because Dwight Howard's game never evolved, and it was always relied upon athletic ability. He no longer has elite athletic ability.
You're right about that. I'm just saying, as far as for the role that they need him to play, Dwight Howard is the best.
But
No,
part of the
I
problem
disagree.
is that it's at this point it's about fit. Dwight doesn't. I mean,
If he's
we don't-
saying that he's willing to play the role,
But I mean,
then he's
but
the best option.
what he's saying he's willing to do and what he's
Exactly.
really willing to
And
do
what
are two
he has
different things.
done.
And then we don't. And one thing we have to keep in mind about the Lakers, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what kind of offense they're gonna run.
Yep.
Right.
You know, we haven't seen what Vogel is going to input into.
And we
it
know
ain't
he's
Vogel's
not
team.
creative.
It's not Vogel's
Right.
team.
And
Y'all
I
know
mean,
that, right?
when Vogel was in Indiana, I mean, of course you have to go with the players you had. I
You don't
mean,
even have to worry about
they
that.
walked
It's
the
not his
ball up the
team.
court. So you know, but I'm with him. I mean, Dwight is a back to the basket big. Those are damn near extinct at this
Joe
point in
Kim
this
is a
NBA.
face-up 5.
And what
He
else can
can't
he do?
shoot.
What else can he do?
He could dribble and pass. He could dribble and pass. He could grab a rebound and push the rock like Boogie can. You could play.
Dwight Howard can't do that.
He can't do that. You could also Joe Kim can initiate the offense from the high post the same way DeMarcus can because he's a willing and great passer.
Yep.
Joe Kim Noah's best ability now is his passing. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's why he's a better fit than Dwight Howard.
And Dwight Howard stay hurt all the time, man.
He was just hurt last year.
He's
The year
he's
before
hurt
that,
every year.
The year before that, he played
hurt,
80,
man.
he played
He's a
81
potato
games the
chip.
year before that, and he
How many
averaged.
minutes per game?
He averaged.
He was good the year before that.
He's a potato chip.
He was
man.
30
Get him out of
minutes,
here.
30 minutes a game. And he
That's
had
with
16
Charlotte.
and
That
12.
was with Charlotte, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had 16 and 12. He only played 9 games last year with.
But you can
DC.
get that from JaVale McGee.
Yep.
16 and 12.
Yeah.
No.
Hell no, you
No,
get
listen,
16
listen.
consistently.
Listen.
Hell no.
You can get 16 and 12 between Joe Kim Noah and JaVale McGee.
Yeah, because
So,
you're not asking
we good.
Dwight Howard to. He's not starting. So, what are you asking
Well,
him
I'm
to
saying
do?
because of AD doesn't
No,
want to play
he's
the
not playing the
5.
5. But here's the
You
thing,
need
though.
somebody.
Well, he might not have a choice, does he?
ain't gonna play.
He
I
gave
think
up
it
$4 million
stretches.
to play the 5.
It stretches small ball.
Right.
He could be your small ball 5. But when you have Omer Asik or whoever other
Joel Embiid.
Boban, Joel,
Yeah.
Joker.
AD's like, bro, I'm not. I'll switch on to him but I'm not guarding this guy multiple possessions.
There's a lot of good big men in the West now.
No,
think
there's a
about it.
whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch.
Man.
But no,
I was about to just go off the rail, but did y'all see that video with Devin Booker fucking cooking in the damn man?
yo, hey,
Man,
look, man, look. Phoenix
Didn't we
fucking
tell him?
up.
Didn't we tell him? No, Devin
Better
Booker
than Clay.
is better than Clay.
Better than
People
Clay.
thought we was crazy.
Better than Clay.
That dude is better than Clay.
Better than Klay
Somebody
Thompson.
Who disagree with that?
A lot of people disagree with me.
He's
and
better
people
than
on
Klay
that.
Thompson.
Yes, skill set wise, yes. From a skill
set.
set on a
I
basketball
haven't
court,
seen Clay score.
Clay
70
can't
points.
hit
He
threes
scored
off the
66.
dribble.
Yeah,
he can't
you
hit
just,
threes
you
off
just
the
don't
dribble
see
like
Devin
him
Booker
though.
because they don't.
They
Phoenix
don't,
ain't ever gonna be on
they
TV.
ain't making the playoffs.
All
and
right,
stuff.
yeah.
All right, fella. Yeah, because he don't make the playoffs. So I mean, I think once he start making the playoffs, then
Yep. He's just not on that stage. He's not
Right,
on that platform.
right.
And in the video that B sent, it shows the clear distinction
Clay
between him and
cannot-
Clay.
yes, Clay cannot do that.
play off the dribble.
Nope.
Clay is catch and shoot, move around.
Yep.
He's Reggie Miller that could play defense and is bigger and better than Reggie
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
But Devin Booker can
Man.
do it off the ball and on the ball. He can create his shot and shots for other people. Clay don't do that. Clay's an assassin. Clay know one thing: shoot the ball.
Catch the
If I
shit.
touch this
Look at
ball,
that.
I'm shooting it, bro.
Yep. If you give me 2 seconds of space,
Exactly. And that's why
Wet.
when they say, hey, y'all getting KD, how's your game going to change? Bro, my game not changing.
Right.
Clay Thompson
Like
game
it-
don't got to
it
change
makes
for
sense to
nobody.
nobody.
Never
Right.
mind. I see somebody in the chat just said Devin Booker isn't better than Clay.
Isn't?
isn't?
Yes.
Wow.
I
don't know what they be
skillfully,
watching.
he's better than
So
Clay.
you agree? You agree? Yes.
Absolutely.
Devin
I love
Booker is-
Devin Booker. He's one of my favorite players in the
Man,
NBA.
Devin Booker is a ball. I remember me and people was singing his praise from the get go. Like
Yep.
The
yo, this-
NBA players know.
Oh,
Like
hell yeah.
I heard CJ was
Yeah.
talking about. They said sometimes. I mean, like I think we talked about this before. Sometimes you can just look at them and just know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and they were just saying. They said when they saw Devin Booker, they were like, "Oh, he got it."
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was as a rookie.
Yep.
Yes.
That was as a rookie.
Yes.
18 years old.
Yes.
Phoenix is
And
messing
they were
up,
like,
man.
"Yeah, he
That
got
dude
it.
need
He
to be
gonna
in
be
the
a
playoffs.
problem."
We need to see him on the
better
playoffs.
they better
boy,
surround
too,
him with
ain't
some talent. If not, he's gonna go to waste.
It's already wasted right now.
No, it's not wasted
No,
yet
he's
because he's so
young
young.
as hell.
He
Yeah.
barely, he's not even
He
21
like
yet.
23.
He's
or
then he signed that.
something. Like 22, 23.
I think he
was
signed
drafted
an
at
extension.
17, turned 18 after signing the rookie
But he
deal.
only played 1 year at Kentucky though, didn't he?
Yeah, but he came early. He came out early.
Okay.
I think this is his third year, right?
Nah, it's not his third year.
Seems like he's been in it longer.
He's
than
been
that.
in he's on a second deal.
Second deal.
Yeah.
I think he just signed an
But he
extension.
was
He just signed an extension, but he's still getting paid rookie money. This is the last year of his contract.
Gotcha.
Okay,
This
so
is year
he was
4.
drafted in 2015, so that means
So this is year 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Year 4. So he signed his extension last year, getting his last year of his rookie deal this year. Next year he
he'll
get
be in a
big
new
money.
contract.
He's 22 years old.
22.
He'd be
He's
he'd be-
22.
He'd be
Damn, I didn't know he was that
nowhere
young.
near his prime, bro.
I didn't know he was that young.
Near,
Bro,
dog.
he got 5 years before he even smelled the prime.
Right.
I don't even know what it smelled like yet. I'm scoring 70 points out here.
Right. He scored
He
70.
got to leave Phoenix though.
Yeah.
he gonna
He gonna
have-
have to.
Yeah, look.
Either that or they're gonna have to put some talent around him.
They got talent. They got the top 5 picks every year.
Because losing is contagious.
They got 2 years. Phoenix has 2 years to make a prominent move.
He expressed last season that he was
You want to make
impatient.
the playoffs?
Yeah.
No.
So he's getting. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're going to sign that contract, and you're still.
He need a point guard.
He needs a point guard.
That's why my man from Kent State would have.
Who?
The dude from Kent State? I think that's
John?
Murray State. Murray
Yeah,
State.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
he
Murray-
would've
yeah,
went-
John.
oh my
Man,
God.
if he
Oh
went there
my
with
God.
him, Devin, and then
and
DeAndre?
yeah.
Man. So look, I like DeAndre Ayton. I think he's a talent. You talking about prototypical modern big men? He got the jumper. He
Yep.
got the back to the basket.
Defense.
He can run the court.
He can run the court.
run the court.
He don't have the
his tenacity ain't
defense,
there.
yeah.
He don't have tenacity.
His defense
He
ain't
has
there.
enough IQ and awareness, but he don't have that dog in him defensively. Like, hey, bro, you not scoring. You know what I'm saying? Like, he not Joel Embiid defensively.
Right, yeah.
He's just not. However, if they could get them a point guard and they need 2 or 3 veteran wings out there, the Trevor Arizas of the world.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And even though I know that he went over there, it's just the timing not right.
Yeah.
But they need a point guard, number one. After the point guard, they need some veterans to fill out that roster, and then they'll start to make the moves. They'll start to.
The Devin Booker baller, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
he's
dude.
ball. He's ball.
That
He
dude
is,
is
man.
certified. That dude is a certified killer.
100.
Yeah.
100.
What you gonna do about AB, Kyle?
They already won him.
AB.
They already said, look, either you in.
I think what's
or
going
you
to
out.
happen is, and first and foremost, that's an old helmet. You know, and I played receiver all my life. I played in college. I'll say this much. He mentioned something about the barring on the face mask and it impairing his vision.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. That is a problem because when you're watching the ball come into your hands, you don't want anything to obstruct your view. It could be something as simple as the bottom bar. You don't need the bottom bar in your vision path because the low passes you won't see them. They can hit your hand or they might hit your body, but you won't see them. So I get where he's coming from, but bro, you got to.
And you could pick like out of. It's not just one helmet. There's like 30
Well,
of them. you
it's
could pick.
a level of. I mean, your helmet is your tool. It's just like for base.
Yeah, but I'm
you
saying.
play baseball.
But they
your
get-
bat is your tool. There's a certain level of attachment to it. There's a certain level of, and some players won't admit it, but it's superstition. You heard Brady mention something about the Super Bowls that he played in. No, he don't want to get rid of the helmet. You know, he would take that helmet with him to bed if he could. The thing is that at some point you got to move on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it
And
ain't
so
that deep.
AB, this only lets me know that they let him get away with a lot of shit in Pittsburgh.
A lot.
Because you don't get to be this big of a jerk. And it's about
Overnight.
a helmet. You know, everybody got to change their helmet.
And,
you know.
and we saw what Ryan Clark said. Ryan
Yeah.
Clark said
And he wasn't
Antonio
lying.
Brown is not a good human. Golly, bro.
And that's Ryan Clark. That's
And
the
Ryan
poster
Clark
boy.
said he told Mike Tomlin, when y'all give him his money, he gonna be a problem.
He gonna monster.
And since he's gotten his money, he's been a problem. And I mean now,
Burn up
what
his
can he
feet,
do? It's
hot air
30
balloons.
30 million. He's guaranteed 30 million. It ain't like he's under contract for a short period of time.
There was a loophole out of that though, where if he didn't show up to camp or if he was like still doing his little
Right.
hiatus thing, that there was some way that they could put him on some list where he can't even get traded to another team and they can get out of
But
29
he's
million
the
of that
best
30.
player on your team at this point. What
That
are
is
you gonna
true.
do?
That is true.
When you got and the Raiders in influx, they're about to move to Vegas. They got this new stadium being built. You know, they need him. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just keep it a bean. They need him.
And you know the reason why they need him is because they need to know if Derek Carr is the quarterback or not.
Yes, Lord.
So that's the reason why they have to put up with the AB
Yep.
stuff. because we know that Derek Carr has all the arm talent in the NFL.
He's
if
on a
you're
contract
talking just
deal.
arm talent, he's top 5. Arm talent. We're not talking to IQ. We're not talking to breaking down.
Just get to your next point. Man.
They need AB to see if one of these 10 or 15 first-round picks need to be on a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And that's why you need AB.
And this is a great year to get off.
Because Carr's it's a contract year for him, so it's make or break. Mm-hmm. So they need to. So they're stuck with these guys. You know, they may not.
Watched Hard Knocks?
Yeah, I watch it every week.
I didn't know he made $120 million already, bro.
Yeah, remember that he had after that was the year that he had a MVP caliber season that he got paid after that?
He got paid and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like
paid at the right time, boy.
It's so they got their hands full with AB. And my thing is this right here, and here's where I have the question at: what do you do with AB when they have a game and they lose, and he's got 3 catches for 23 yards? And he had 5 targets the whole day. He gonna be mad as hell. Mm-hmm. And he had an issue with the fact that Ben could say whatever he wanted to say. And I mean, I blame the Steelers for letting Ben talk reckless about him. But they let Ben do what he wanted to do. Carr doesn't have the cachet to talk bad about AB.
He ain't gonna talk bad about him.
No, he ain't gonna talk bad about him. He gonna talk him up. But AB's gonna be mad as hell. How do you handle a pissed off AB post game when he got 3 catches for 23 yards?
I think it's one of them situations we'll worry about it when we get there.
Be careful, man. I mean,
like you said, you laid out the situation. Not only did we already guarantee this man a lot of money, but he's box office as far as he will sell tickets, and we need something to hold us over to this transition. Yeah. And then on top of that, we have a second plan as far as we got to see if this guy can help us, evaluate if Derek Carr is that dude. So it's like we have so much tied up into this one player as far as where our franchise will go in the next couple years, if not next decade. It's like, what? I'm just going to have to deal with it.
You could say he's the best receiver in the game, and the Raiders can't say that about any other position on the field.
Yep.
So
it's not even close.
You can't get rid of him. You're stuck with him. And the fact that he's showing you his ass about a helmet, like I said, part of it I get, but at this point, bro, you got to move on. I mean, you literally, and
the season about to start. We ain't going to give a damn about none of that shit.
They have a game at the time of this recording is Tuesday. They have a game Thursday. He's probably not going to play in that game. Starters don't play in the 4th game, so that means you've got no game reps with your quarterback. It'd be different if it was Ben.
He has to play this week.
If he had played, if this had happened in Pittsburgh, no problem.
Yeah, I got
he and Ben probably got they can look
take
at
him a game and a half.
Yeah,
game and a half.
Yeah, to get it. He doesn't have the chemistry, and one of the things that is constantly talked about, but you don't really know it until you play the game. The chemistry between a quarterback and receiver, you got to be on the same page.
It's the timing.
And you know this too. It don't matter how much you practice. When you get in that game, the ball come out just that much harder. Mm-hmm. That receiver runs just that much faster. And you have to understand what the difference is between the practice throwing the ball and in the game throwing the ball.
Because sometimes you're just throwing the spots. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you're just throwing the spots. And you expect that receiver to be there. And if the receiver's not there, that could be the difference between an incompletion and a pick.
Yep.
And,
pick 6.
And it's just, I mean, pray for Raiders fans, man. I sympathize with y'all because it's going to get worse. Because once the season starts and you start losing games, AB didn't lose a lot in Pittsburgh. Mm-mm. He didn't lose a lot. And again, we talked about it in our thread, we got to tip our hat to Mike Tomlin because trust me, for all of this shit to come out, that means Tomlin hit a lot of shit. Because trust me, what we see in the press conference and everything like that, that's half of it.
And Mike Tomlin is the best at press conferences. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows how to just say the right things.
All of that, I'm sure there'll be a 30 for 30 some years from now. But that stuff that went on at the end of the season when he came with the mink coat and he left at halftime, something happened there. Now, I mean, again, you won't have Steelers players talk about it publicly.
They already did. They
don't
give a damn about that shit.
No, you heard a little bit.
Yeah, you don't know.
We ain't got the full story. We'll get the full story. We'll get the full story at some point. But I mean, like
Steelers players talk about players that they don't like in but
there's still a culture that goes on that they'll just tell you glimpses, like Kyle said, just glimpses. And Chris Carter talked about this. He was like, we don't know a quarter of the things that go on. Mm-hmm. He said they only let you know what they want you to know.
Right.
He said, but most of that stuff they keep in house, and it, to what you were saying, like When Tomlin got to the point when he said we want volunteers, not hostages,
that was it.
that's when you know he was fed.
Yeah, he was done.
He was done.
And Tomlin's hands, they were tied, and and I felt bad. We talked about it before too. Like, Tomlin took a lot of heat.
He did.
And not only that, but he's trying to win, and all of this stuff going on. They were trying to get in the playoffs, and it was a lot of stuff going on, man. So I mean, and they gave him up for a 3 and a 5.
That's how you know it was bad.
That's how you know it was bad. This is the best receiver in the game, and you give him up for a 3 and a. Well, okay, well
that's what I was about to say.
Well, give me that. Like, if you say he's the best,
he's
you
number
give
one
him
or
up
two
for a 3 and a 5.
And nobody else really.
Yeah.
Odell went for 2 first rounds and a player
because they
How
wanted
much you think
Odell.
Julio would go for if the Falcons put him on the market?
The whole roster.
So that tells you that they were just like, look, man, get out of here. Take him off our hands. So.
And now we see why.
Yeah.
People criticize the trade. People criticize the move. And now we see why.
And you've heard nothing from Pittsburgh's camp. Pittsburgh's camp's been peaceful and quiet.
And
Yes,
Ken, you brought up the fact that no one's coming at Gruden for this. The only I've heard a lot of people come at Gruden and the Raiders organization for just picking him up anyway. But at the same time, AB just got there too. So it's like I don't know how much you can really aim at Gruden outside of his decision making, because who else would expect someone who just got there to cause this much trouble?
Here's the problem. We saw last summer Gruden ran Khalil Mack out of town.
Yeah.
He said Khalil Mack was a malcontent. He hadn't even met Khalil Mack.
Yep.
He sends Khalil Mack off, and what happens to the Bears?
A playoff team.
Yep.
Amari Cooper out.
So
Yes.
So Gruden is not above.
That's what I'm saying.
being-
His decision making is in
No,
question.
I think he's fair game for criticism, because
Yeah, of course.
now publicly he's backed, and like people said on Hard Knocks, they've backed him publicly, but behind closed doors, I'm pretty sure he's mad as hell.
That's why Mike Mayock had to come outside. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna tell y'all this.
He
Right.
just
You all in and out."
and nobody believes a damn thing he said.
And that was for the cameras.
That's all that was.
That was for the cameras and the soundbite, because he didn't even do that at a press conference. He just wandered out there and just started talking, and he was like, "That's all I'm gonna say." He didn't take no questions, no nothing.
You know what? I
He
think
sure did say no.
That was for hard. That was for Hard Knocks.
That definitely was for Hard
That was
Knocks.
for Hard
But it was
Knocks.
something
That
that I don't think he just said it just for Hard
Yes,
Knocks.
he did.
He
No, he
did.
did.
Yes, he did.
Colin Cowherd said something. It 100%. When you're in football and you go to TV, TV never leaves you.
Nope.
Mike Mayock and John Gruden
Facts.
are TV.
Facts.
Bro.
Listen to him.
They are.
No,
TV.
John Gruden came out.
Listen to
That first episode of Hard Knocks, that nigga,
Yeah.
hey.
But then
Talking that
if you
shit.
play and we all play sports, what's coach speaking.
Yeah.
You know what's
What's
for the
real.
Yeah,
cameras.
you just listen to him.
So
his
I'm
soliloquies.
gonna keep my eye on them, man, because
Hey, for what? I don't see nobody's like he said in that speech too. Nobody has any expectations for this team. At best case
And you
scenario,
see why.
what are they winning? 4 to 6 games. Best case
I
scenario.
think they won 4 games last year. So,
Yeah, so
maybe,
like 6
maybe
games.
AB might get them. to
AB's
6.
worth 2 at least.
Maybe if
That's
he's
off
there.
a name.
If he's there,
He ain't worth 2 games.
I mean,
I also think that Mike said that just to kind of put out there that we're not the Steelers and that we're not going to tolerate, intolerance in our
Right,
organization.
right.
We're the Raiders.
Yeah, it was just all for show, man.
It is because here's the thing. In football, unlike every other sport, it's cutthroat. And if you do act the ass, 9 times out of 10 I could cut you. But this is that 10th time. And when you have guys that
No, this is that 30th million time.
Yeah.
100
Guaranteed
I was
time.
getting there. When you have look, every NFL team has a top 5 guys that literally can get away with anything.
Mm-hmm.
AB's one of those top 5 guys on this team. And you
He just
have
is.
to tolerate. Like this man can literally go show his ass and he's gonna
like
play.
how T.O. was.
Exactly. He's gonna play.
So he's the modern
too
day T.O.
talented.
He's
He
T.O.
is.
2.0, but
exactly with the same agent.
yeah. Oh yeah.
With
Good
the same
point.
agent.
Good point. Good
Bruh,
point.
It don't look. AB gonna have to go smack somebody mama not to be on that field, bruh. Outside of domestic violence or some crazy gun or drug charge
Or dog fighting.
or dog fighting.
Well, we
just ain't about-
saw what Big Ben got away with.
That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
know.
Yeah.
He the wrong color, man.
Right.
He the wrong
He
color.
got
Just
the
saying.
yeah.
He
You got
the
the
wrong
complexion for the protection.
Exactly.
Man.
But outside of those 3 or 4 things, but he gonna play. He's gonna play. He might have to pay a fine. He might not play the first half or a couple weeks,
Yeah.
but he gonna play. He's just one of those guys.
And that fine may just be a written fine.
Yeah,
it just may be for documentation purposes. They may never collect.
They will put up with you as long as you're talented enough to put out on the field.
But that's why
when your talent declines,
it's a wrap.
You're done with you.
So how many yards he got to get this year?
1,000 plus.
1,000 plus. How many touchdowns?
He's got to have an AB type because his numbers were a little down a little bit last year. So he's gonna have to have a better season.
No less than 9 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
But I also think since it's such it is very doable. But I think it's such a dependent position.
Quarterback.
Yep.
But
he should be able to get that in his sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That because of AB, and then also we know Derek Carr is not a slouch.
Yeah, right. Derek Carr can play.
Now who's on the other side of AB? Do they have a number?
That's what I was gonna say. The only reason why his numbers are either gonna go down because of the quarterback or because of that defensive coverage.
Because I'm triple teaming him.
I don't know who's on the other side of Oakland.
I'm making whoever's on the other side beat me because I'm a triple team AB every play.
Yep.
Because they over there, you look at Hard Knocks, they trying out some undrafted free agent guys.
I'm triple teaming. I'm making Derek Carr beat me.
But here's the thing about AB, right? Unlike some of the other ones, like Julio, you could put him in the slot or whatever, but he doesn't necessarily excel there. AB can excel in the slot, and you can dictate coverage.
You have to move him around.
Exactly, and that's the beautiful thing about guys like AB, you know, the T.Y. Hiltons of the world. Hey, what do you want to do? Okay, bet. You triple team, double team my guy the last 2-3 times he's been on the outside. Guess what? Let's move him on his side. Let's move him on in motion. Because what that's gonna do is discombobulate the defense so much because they have to do so much communication just for one guy. Now we could do a counter off of that motion. Like there's so much stuff. So you can still utilize AB because AB is such a talent and such a weapon.
You have to.
And when you're that great, when you're in the upper echelon of whatever professional sport you're in, you dictate to the defense what happens.
Right.
So his numbers may be down, but he still get 1,000 plus yards and 9 touchdowns. He just is.
Have to.
He's that good. And you know what? I put it to you like this: put him on the field with Fitzmagic. He's gonna get 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Because that's all Fitz gonna throw to.
About 7 picks.
He's gonna get his numbers. AB's gonna get his. It don't matter who's throwing him the ball. He's gonna get his.
So are we gonna talk about?
I was gonna say Ken usually say we ain't gonna bury the lead.
What? Talk about what?
Sean Corey Carter and his partnership.
We off the government.
Yeah, people call him by his government now.
JT.
What does that stand for?
Token.
Oh
man.
Just to recap, Jay-Z and Rock Nation partnered up with the NFL for not only to.
You said Jermaine Dupri? I'm sorry.
No. Sorry. Jay-Z.
Jermaine Dupri?
Y'all know what I'm talking about. He teamed up with the NFL, him and his company Rock Nation, to not only do social justice initiatives for the NFL, but also to, I guess, take over the Super Bowl halftime show. And
you got it backwards.
To consult.
Oh, he's a consultant?
No, you got it backwards. It's for Super Bowl and entertainment, and he will help them with social justice stuff. But his job is to be the jester.
Stop it, Ken.
All right, man.
Stop it, Ken.
Ken, like, look.
I'm just saying. I'm saying what everybody else afraid to say.
Everybody's been said they call him a coon, they call him a sellout.
I ain't
What do you
calling
mean?
him a coon.
You looking at the wrong threads then.
Oh.
But so all right, so how y'all feel? So Ken said he's a jester. B, what's up?
I mean, it's from the outside of it, it doesn't look too good. I'm kind of like I just want to see how this plays out, but just from the outside looking in, it doesn't.
Do you think they're killing him too early? Because it literally just been announced. Like the season hasn't even started yet. We don't know nothing about the deal.
Him as in Jay-Z?
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's not like he hasn't been active.
I mean,
before.
yeah, you know, social media gonna be social media, but
This is beyond social media, though.
Yeah, it is, but
yeah. This is not social media outrage. This is
not,
way beyond
It's
that.
black people outrage.
Yes.
And here's the thing.
I just don't want to make it no Jay-Z versus
Colin Kaepernick.
Whatever. I just don't want to make it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so a couple things. My first thing was, when I first heard about it, I didn't really care. Like, it was like, all right, cool, this seems like Jay-Z's wheelhouse. I didn't feel no type of way until I heard or found out that Jermaine Dupri was offered the same exact deal.
That's what
We don't know that.
Like I said, like what I heard.
Jermaine confirmed it through Funk Flex. And Brian Cox said it
Man, who the
first.
hell is Brian Cox?
Brian Michael Cox.
I know who Brian Michael Cox is, but most people don't.
Okay,
but still,
We haven't heard.
We haven't heard from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, we haven't heard
I'll
from
get
Jermaine
him my
Dupri.
point. I'll get him
Yeah.
my Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I felt a certain type of way after that. And then your question was, are we reacting too quickly to it? I don't think we are, mainly because we know that the turmoil that we've been going back and forth with, in terms of when I say we, I mean melanated people, in the NFL and the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, right? For Jay-Z to come off and do this does feel very gesture-like. You know what I'm saying? Because what Colin was standing for was deeper than just advising this large entity into having better performances, entertainment performances. It's bigger than that. So if you are going to partner with the NFL, it should be about those causes that created this talking point. Jay-Z is always huge on dialogue. What type of dialogue is this doing? Realistic.
It's creating a dialogue of saying
a negative dialogue.
Well, it's creating a conversation about like, is there only one way to fight for black rights or black justice in America?
That conversation has always been around.
But exactly. So, but it's being brought up again in a different way.
But this deal has nothing or very little to do about that.
We don't know. We don't know what the deal is. We just going off of a headline. We literally do not know any
We
part
know
of
what
that
they've
detail.
told us.
Exactly.
And that's enough.
And we just like we don't know what Cap's deal was with the NFL with that settlement either. We don't know what was involved with that.
I think it's a couple of layers here. Like B said, and I mentioned it too. I think like when I first got the news, I was like, what? Like trying to figure out what it was. And I was like, FIFA, I really didn't care. But the more and more I started talking about it and started reading, and I started looking for myself, because sometimes you can't just rely on social media to provide you with the answers.
You should never rely on social media.
Well, this is true. What I found was that I'm more in the middle.
I'm with you.
I'm in the middle. And as much as I like Jay-Z and I admire him as a man and as an artist, the optics of this looked horrible for him, because he was just 6 months ago saying, we don't need the Super Bowl, I'm not performing at the Super Bowl, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Even shouted him out in the song on Ape Shit. We play stadiums, whatever the case may be. Okay, so you took that hardline stance. So at some point after that, I'm assuming the NFL came to you and said, hey, Jay-Z, we would like to partner with you. So what I would have liked to have seen happen was I would have liked to have seen him partnership with Colin Kaepernick in some way, shape, or form for this change initiative. That didn't happen. He reached out to Kaepernick presumably after his deal had been struck. So that happening afterwards, I mean, it's...
You said you wish he would have.
I wish he didn't owe that to Cap.
I'll say, did he need to?
No, he didn't need. I mean, Jay-Z's grown. He do what he want to do. You know, but the optics of it look bad for Jay-Z, because it looks like you just came in and just kind of secured a bag, you know, because there's money involved here. Just like the Players Coalition, Malcolm Jenkins and those guys, they secured a bag too. So Colin is not profiting from any of this, and he in essence started it. So I have a problem with that. But that goes back to what we were talking about the other day via text. His silence is hurting him. He should say, hey, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all can't do this. Whatever. I don't know what Colin feels, because
that's what I'm saying too.
His girlfriend is talking. Eric Reed is talking.
Kenny Stills talking.
Kenny Stills is talking. Colin's sending tweets and pictures and videos. And I'm not knocking him for that, but when you don't say something, when you don't say anything, you let other people control the narrative. So back to Jay-Z, I'm not going to say Jay-Z's cooning or anything like that, but the optics look bad. Mm-hmm. They look really bad for him from a business standpoint, because you were just shitting on the NFL.
Yeah.
That being said, where I'm on the middle is that we talk about change. At some point, we have to move to try to make change. You know, so, and what Jay-Z said was wrong. He should have never said we're past kneeling. We ain't past kneeling.
Right.
They want to kneel because they want to kneel. He should have never made that statement. Everything else he said, I think, was pretty on par with what they were trying to do. What I did was I took the liberty of looking up what the initiative change was, and it was on the. I don't even know if I found it on the NFL's website. I'm pretty sure it's on there now. But it says working with the Players Coalition, Inspire Change focuses on 3 priority areas: education and economic advancement, police and community relations, criminal justice reform. And then it goes and breaks down each of those things, community activism and how they want to interact and so forth and so on. This is all the stuff that I found myself. Jay-Z and Roger Goodell mentioned it kind of briefly, but they didn't have this. And I'm like, bruh, you should have had this at your press conference, which I think was a shitty press conference in and of itself because you're at Rock Nation's headquarters.
Was it even a press conference?
This was in certain selected invited media. Because if you're having a press conference at the end,
Is that classism?
Yeah, if you're having a press conference at NFL headquarters, Charlamagne not getting invited.
He was invited.
Well, he might be invited, but he's not up close.
He was there. He was.
I know he was. That's what I'm saying. Angie Martinez, she's not getting invited. She's a close confidant of Jay-Z's. Yeah. And so again, the optics look bad. It looks like it's almost like I'm in trouble, and to save my ass, I invite B, Ken, FIFO, Nick, Rod, everybody from my hood. You know, that's what it looks like. So it looks and smells shitty. Now, Jay-Z can say, hey, I meant no harm. And if you cut him some slack and say, okay, well, he didn't mean any harm, but it looks bad on his part. So here's what I would like to see. What I read, I would have liked for them to at least have a press release in front of them to read to people or whatever the case may be. They did none of that. So it looks when you start off like Ralph said, you start off talking about, okay, well, hey, we're going to change the entertainment, and Jay-Z starts talking about this inclusion and all this stuff like that. Okay, I don't think people would have given Jay-Z as much hell as they did if it was just about a Super Bowl halftime. But then when you start talking about social injustices and social changes, therein lies the problem, because it's like, okay, they were like, okay, well, you there to give Cap a job? I mean, a lot of people think that. And Jay-Z is not in a position to give Cap a job.
Well,
and my last point.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Cap's settlement, we don't know what it was. So just based on what I know about the NFL, I've been watching the NFL since 1976. One of the most memorable things I remember when I was in like the early 80s, the NFL, they had this motto: win the press conference. That was their motto: win the press conference. So the NFL's about 2 things. They're about their image and they're about money. Well, they're about money first, and then they're about their image. Everything else, that's it. Like you said, protect the shield. That's it. So they don't care about anything else. So no, they don't care about social injustice. They don't care about breast cancer. They don't care about domestic violence. They don't care about rap music.
They don't care about the military.
They don't care about, no, they really don't care about the military. The NFL wasn't even playing the national anthem, and where you had to stand on the sidelines until like 10 years ago. After 9/11, they got into the patriotism bag, if you will. So the NFL, they don't care. They pretend like they do, but they don't. But you have to, and you know, for those who boycott or don't like the NFL, you have to kind of figure out where you want to place the NFL. For me, I just look at it for what it is. Exactly. And it's nothing more, nothing less. But I said all that to say this. The NFL is in the business for itself. And I think my issue with Jay-Z is I think Jay-Z may have played himself in thinking that they're going to do right by him and what he's trying to do. They play on a different level. And Jay-Z's been in probably dangerous situations around gangsters and all kind of stuff like that. But this is a level of game that I'm not. Yeah, this is totally different.
Gangster capitalism.
Yeah, and Jay-Z, he's a capitalist. I mean, who wouldn't want? I mean, but I mean, if I had $1 billion, I mean, do I want more money? I guess. I mean, that's what billionaires do, you know. But I think the NFL, what they have is, to Ken's point, and I see why people are calling. I'm not gonna call Jay-Z a token, but they now have a black face that they can put out. Well, no, we're not doing Cap wrong. We got Jay-Z. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But one thing I do know about the NFL, when they settle with you, because Cap accomplished something in suing the NFL and getting them to settle, because they don't settle.
They don't settle.
The NFL will take you. They'll let you take them to court, and they will
ride it out.
Ride it out until they bleed you of all your money.
They did that to Brady and them.
So Cap did something by getting them to settle. And let's just say that Cap got $80 million. The NFL operates under the mantra of, once we give you your money, we done. We ain't fucking with you no more. You know, Eric Reed is...
That's the peculiar situation because
But Eric Reed ain't Cap. Eric Reed... Cap is Rosa Parks. Eric Reed is the lady that sat behind Rosa Parks.
But
she sat behind Rosa Parks. She was still sitting.
But she making more noise than Rosa.
But that's on Cap. At some point, Cap's got to talk for himself. Or if he continues to be quiet or let his actions speak for him, like B said, B doesn't care if he says anything. Something happens with that. Sometimes your silence can hurt you. So, or you can let people believe what they want to believe about you. And no, I don't expect him to get on Twitter and be fighting with trolls and all kinds of stuff like that. But my last point is just the NFL, they were done with Cap. So I think the people who are mad with Jay-Z because he didn't position this to get Cap a job, Cap wasn't going to get a job anyway. When they settled that lawsuit, that was it. They're done. And if Eric Reed didn't have a good season last year, he'd be done. And I'm not even sure after this season if Eric Reed will have another job.
I'm surprised Kenny Stills.
I'm surprised Kenny Stills has a job, especially given the fact that he criticized their owner. His deal is up this year. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him next year. You know, so
and he ain't that guy anyway.
Yeah, and you better be that guy. And unfortunately, the downside of it was that Cap, when he went into this situation, he wasn't at his best on the field. If he was a top 5 quarterback, Cap still be out there playing and kneeling.
Guaranteed money, but
making some exceptions.
Yeah, playing and kneeling every week.
Like AB, huh?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, he be AB.
Right.
So it's unfortunate. I feel and we've seen a lot and talked about it a lot. I just think I stopped short of calling Jay-Z a token or a coon or anything like that because Jay-Z's track record on social issues he's done a lot. And a lot of people that bitch and moan about what Jay-Z did or isn't doing ain't doing shit.
Boy.
So you can shut the fuck up, really.
That stop and frisk.
Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I've never given any money to bail anybody out of anything. And I know for a fact Jay-Z, because one of my friends was in Ferguson and got arrested and got bailed out by Jay-Z and Beyonce. I know that for a fact. So I ain't never gave a dime. And so for him to do that for somebody that he don't even know, he may never even meet, that says a lot. So, Jay-Z's track record is there, but I just think at least I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he's earned it.
My LeBron Miami decision. Is this what this is?
It's bigger than that, man, because
it's way bigger than that.
This could really go wrong for Jay-Z publicly with us. It ain't gonna go wrong with him and his constituents.
No, of course.
And it's not gonna mean that Jay-Z's not gonna be on your top 5 or it might be some people that cancel Jay-Z, but if he drop an album tomorrow, people probably gonna listen.
I think here's the thing. Before we go about canceling Jay, we have to see how this plays out. And like you said,
I agree totally.
Jay-Z has a track record being pro-brother. This looks like questionable. However, let's see what happens or what transpires from this deal. Because if he is still pro-brother, if he does get some level of influence in the NFL to be pro-brother, then we got to clap it up. We just do. But initial reactions today, right now, it don't look good.
It don't
look good. It don't feel good. Mm-mm. So, Jay-Z has a big uphill
But knowing
climb.
Jay the way that you know him,
I always give Jay the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
I always give him the benefit of the doubt. But I also have to speak my truth with my eyes and what my heart
But now
feels.
Jay-Z the hustler too. Do you think Jay-Z in a room of those people is being hustled?
Nah.
Okay.
That's what people are saying though.
Nah.
They saying that this might be a mastermind.
Nah.
But you know what I don't want to see? I don't want to see Jay-Z perform either. Because that looks even worse.
100%.
Yeah. That looks even worse. Don't perform 100%. For the next 5 years. Don't perform. Don't have nobody from Rock Nation perform.
Whatever.
That's they gotta have impossible. Rock Nation.
That's damn near.
That was the whole.
I don't want to see
that was the whole
man,
point of him doing the Rock Nation.
Man,
thing.
bring Miley Cyrus in there. Bring somebody.
Come on.
Hell no. The first
Mic.
Super Bowl, Jay-Z doing got Miley Cyrus. Come on.
He over here.
Bring Miley Cyrus back.
You got to bring on her. Her make it back.
Bring out Lil Mama. Shit.
I think
We
with
bring out Chance.
Shit, bring out Pusha T. Like, look, bring out Killer Mike. You know, look. I'm just saying. I have always.
I mean, they really need to bring Beyonce back, to be honest. She's had the best halftime show.
No, she has.
No, she hasn't. Bruno Mars had a better halftime show.
Oh, hell no, man.
Bruno Mars
Beyonce's show was.
Y'all remember? Bruno Mars saved that
Beyonce
Super Bowl.
did 2 shows that was dope. The show in New Orleans where she shut it down and the lights went off. And then the joint she did with
Coldplay.
Yeah.
No, that was dope. But Bruno
don't even
Mars
like
saved.
Beyonce.
Bruno Mars saved that Super Bowl. Remember when Denver was getting their ass blown out? Everybody was damn near cutting the game off. Bruno Mars saved that.
You
shit.
love you some Bruno Mars.
I respect.
I don't remember his Super Bowl.
He bumping your whip, don't he?
I remember Beyonce. I don't
Niggas
remember.
listen to Bruno
Everybody
Mars
remember
on the way over
Beyonce,
here.
but Bruno saved that Super Bowl. Y'all gotta look back at.
I mean,
Probably the
to
only
be
one
honest,
that
we
feel
even
that
I don't watch Super Bowl performances.
I don't either.
Yeah, okay, so
Me neither. I
But
accept to watch
that's
I
it.
remember
that's just a
Beyonce,
personal thing.
and I remember Prince.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Everybody remember
Yeah,
Prince.
everybody remember.
Yeah.
Prince.
And
But I mean,
the Purple
I would,
Rain.
I would like to see Jace recuse himself from any Super Bowl performances, but like I
Get
said,
out there and chucking job and start tap dancing for the Masters, brother. Shit, they ain't pay him just to
hey, did
walk
you
around.
peep how Roger Goodell was sitting there? He had no suit on, no nothing. He was just chilling.
My thing is like I feel like and I think Ken, you talked about this in the thread, as far as like this all is just a divisive way to separate us, division and all that. And I'm thinking like everybody that we're talking about who's involved with this is getting paid by the NFL. Jay-Z's getting paid.
What's up for Cap?
Cap got paid.
Well,
with that
he
settlement.
was paid for wages not earned.
But he still accepted that settlement. Like we said, he could have fought it more because if the NFL's willing to settle, that means they're willing to admit that they had some fault.
Well, he could have gone and lost.
But either way, he could have
Getting
fought.
paid now.
But he got paid. Eric Reed's still getting paid. Kenny's still getting paid.
Cap is not getting paid.
A lot of people that we're
Cap
talking
is not-
about.
but Cap he wants to play for the NFL, and unfortunately,
And then that's even-
the NFL can and will now say, well, he's 3 years removed from football. We don't know what his.
But then
skills
why
are
are you trying to play for an institution that you call racist?
That's
Your job can be racist, but you're gonna show up tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is about a platform.
But at this
too.
point, were you-
because Cap used the platform to push his own agenda anyway.
right.
So it doesn't matter.
So is this about him getting a job, or is it about the social issues that he was talking about in the beginning?
It's about both.
It's about both.
One is priority over the
feels
other,
like,
though.
He feels like he
Nah.
should not have lost his job while doing that.
But he knew that it was a risky move, right?
Well, I mean,
think
if I
he didn't know. Cap is smart enough to know that.
Well, here's the
Well,
thing.
and he was kneeling way before people actually started picking it up on camera
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So before the cameras picked it up and the media sensationalized it,
He was sitting
Well,
before he was
the
kneeling.
question is, how far are you going to go? I mean, like, you go to work tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they have a dress code at your job. You can't go in shorts, right?
Loosely. But I wouldn't
But
do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Let's say you can't go in shorts.
Okay.
You keep showing up in shorts. They're gonna say, "Hey, Nick, bro, you can't come in here like this."
But I can't be saying I'm in shorts because I'm trying to, for social
No,
justice.
but what I'm saying is that every job has some type
But
of.
that's your MO. Like that's your prerogative if you wanted it to be, and you're using your job as the platform to do it. Because maybe you come in contact with disenfranchised people and be like, you know what? I want to make sure that even though I'm in whatever position I'm in, I'm relatable to you. Because I'm here for you.
But once I lose my job, because I'm going into it because I'm willing to put my job on the line for this cause. And then once I lose my job, I'm still, the whole point of me losing my job or risking it was for the cause.
Yeah, I
so
think,
then why do we always keep going back? Is Cap getting a job?
Well,
he's already getting paid by Nike.
I think Colin Kaepernick knew that he was going to lose his job. He probably didn't want to, but I think deep down he knew he was going to lose his job.
Any smart man would.
And he knew that he wasn't going to. He didn't think that this was going to happen. I mean, they pulling bombs off the street to play quarterback.
That's true.
They will give FIFA a job at quarterback before they call Colin Kaepernick.
I'll take the minimum.
Retired, came back. Or
Josh
something?
McCown.
Yeah.
Josh McCown was Jay Cutler.
No, it was Josh Johnson. They pulled him out for the Skins. They pulled him out of retirement.
So nothing short of every NFL quarterback getting hurt this season, and they still wouldn't. They probably pull somebody from college. Cap's done.
I'll take 10 bands to throw two
Hey
throws
man,
in
let me tell you something. Any NFL team listening, I'll play quarterback for $800,000 and a lifetime Gatorade.
Hey, you get 2 passes for 10 bands. I pay. Every 2 passes, 10 bands. Let's go.
$800K. That's all I need.
My thing is though, it's just like
I'll invest.
It's all about like the cause. it's all about the community. Like, you put the community before yourself as far as what he was promoting.
Well,
and my thing is, like, because he hasn't spoke, the message is getting a lot muddier, and we don't really know how. Like, we don't really know what this is about right now. Well, we have an idea, but the actions don't follow.
It goes back to what Ken said, where it's divisive. It was divisive when Cap was kneeling because we as a people were like, some of us, I can't believe y'all watching football. Y'all shouldn't watch football. We've been watching football all our life. What do you mean? And then Cap got his money, and that was even more decisive. I can't believe he settled. You know, and then people were up, and it's funny because some of the people that are criticizing Jay-Z were mad at Cap 3-4 months ago when he took his money.
Exactly.
So it's like, what do y'all want?
Exactly.
So,
look, I think when you deal with stuff like this, nobody's ever gonna come out ahead, especially in the midst of the controversy. We don't know what the deal is. We don't have details. We don't know Jay-Z's level of involvement. We don't know. We don't know why Cap is silent.
Yeah.
Maybe Cap is silent because this is going to be the greatest thing and he don't want to steal Jay-Z's thunder. Or maybe this is going to be the worst thing and he has an intimate knowledge and he's like, you know what? I'll let y'all find out at your own time.
Right.
We don't know. And that's why, like, we can't jump off the deep end. It can't be the greatest thing and it may not be the worst thing. We just don't know.
Because we don't know what Jay-Z can and will do once he gets in the room.
Exactly.
But you got to be in the room.
That's what we always say. What y'all say? We need a Leroy in the room. You got Sean.
But when you get in the room, you got to do something. So it's really on Jay-Z.
But his resume speaks that he does stuff in the room.
But he's got to do it now. It can't be about talking about it. It can't be about what I did last week. He's got to do it. And this is just as important as this is even more important than an album because he can affect so much. Yep. Now the rumor came about him possibly becoming an owner. I don't know where that came from.
I think that was just a rumor
because there's only 32 teams. Yeah. I don't know of anybody that is looking to sell a team.
Nope.
And the Panthers just sold last year for $2.4 billion. Jay ain't got that kind of money.
And here's the thing: the one team, because me and a couple of coworkers we talked about it a little bit. The one team that would make sense, just because of location geographics, would be Buffalo. However, the Buffalo owners, it's two of them.
Yep.
They just bought in 2014, 5 years ago. They're not selling, and that's the cheapest franchise at $1.4 billion.
Nope. And
so
one thing that you have to remember about owners in any sports, their football teams or their basketball team or their baseball teams, that's usually their secondary.
Yeah, you got to get $1 billion before you can buy it.
They got their money into something like Jerry Jones. He got his money in oil. He didn't get his money in football. He was able to buy the Cowboys, and he came in as this hotshot owner, whatever the case may be.
How much did he buy for, like 20 mil, 30 mil?
Yeah.
It was like 250 million.
I mean, he pissed everybody.
It was peanuts.
He bought the Cowboys, and he ran Tom Landry off, and people were mad as hell. And then they went like 2-14, and then here comes Jimmy, and then here comes Troy, and here comes Aikman, and next thing you know, Super Bowls. So it can happen, and so I think people want to see Jay-Z become an owner, but I mean, hell, he owned the Nets, and what did they do? They moved to Brooklyn, and for some, and I've seen people say this on social media,
criticize that.
It looked like the Nets kind of him and the Russians kind of used him
to gentrify Brooklyn.
They did. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on that just a little bit, but then I'm gonna bow out because I love Jay, but I'm over the whole Jay conversation. Gentrification is good and bad. It's good because people like us, right, that have just a little bit of power in this world, right? Like we have pretty decent jobs, we keep our shit pretty clean. It makes sense for us to invest into something and then get our money out of it.
Yeah.
Real estate investment. What do you think that is? When you go buy a house for 80 grand, you put 20 grand into it and then you sell it for 200 grand. That's gentrification at its finest. As a businessman, what Jay-Z did was not wrong. Because Brooklyn, right, for the longest time has been one of those places that you need to walk around with a strap. And by bringing the Brooklyn Nets there, by beautifying, gentrifying parts of Brooklyn, he raised the property value. Obviously, that hurts some of the disenfranchised people. So at the end of the day, what we need balance in life. Yeah. And we need to hit the core. We need to be able to invest into how Nipsey was doing with the children and education and things of that nature. But we also need to invest like LeBron did with his school invest into the parents. We need to come up with banks, loans that help out minority disenfranchised people to be able to purchase these properties in these gentrified places. We need to be able to tap on both sides of the fence.
So Jay-Z profited, but black folks didn't.
Some black folks did, not
Some
all black
did.
folks.
Some
But
did.
not those that he sought out to help. I heard that
Well,
the black folks.
Well, I mean,
didn't
they
get
built an arena,
jobs.
and so you had jobs.
I heard
created-
most of those jobs went to white people.
I mean, I don't
According
know. I
to
live in
some of the
Brooklyn.
data and research.
Well, I
that
mean, you
they
basically saying you
released.
got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Like,
Yeah,
it's
but
not-
it,
it's not-
what
that's
good
what
is what good is the
business is.
omelet if all the white people eating the omelet
if it's a
and the black folks are getting the shells?
Right.
Like,
Kid's stupid.
I'm just saying, like,
so
you know,
so what? All right, go ahead. Speak your mind, man. You've been shaking your head and sitting back all this time.
well, what's the NFL about, Kyle?
Money
Money and what else?
and their image. That's it.
What does Jay-Z accomplish?
100%. 100%. And
The image.
Yeah.
He's the image. The money part is going to be solved because
Right.
It's the NFL.
and black people stop watching. And black people stop, and they can't get performers because Jay-Z said don't perform. So they had to go to JD. Nobody want to see JD.
Who is
They
that?
want to see Rihanna.
Who is
They
JD?
want to see, well, I don't know if Bruno was
Nick wants to see
protesting.
Bruno.
I
But,
see Bruno.
You know, people want to
Shout
see.
out to the Bruno
they
fans.
They got Maroon 5, dog. Like, they had to go get Maroon 5 because the black folks were supporting and sticking with Colin Kaepernick. You can solve both of that if you go get, not saying that he is a token, but he definitely is their token and their mascot. He's the guy we see on all the movies where, what does we say? There's always one.
Yep.
And he's the one that's going to be in the room at the table. He may be able to talk, but that don't mean they're going to listen because he's going to have one vote, one voice, and that's it. It's still white people at the table that's going to make all the decisions.
so let's, okay. So let me play devil's advocate.
I thought you was bowing out.
You know I can't. That's why I'm on the show. So let me play devil's advocate, right? Let's say he is the person, he is the token at the table. Obviously, he became a billionaire, so he deserves a seat at the table. Let's say they don't listen to him. Let's say Jay-Z pulls out of the NFL.
After you made all the money, go ahead.
Of course.
All right.
However, what if he says, yo, he reaches out to Diddy, right, another billionaire. He reaches out to Dr. Dre, another damn near billionaire, black, right? Reaches out to Floyd Mayweather, probably the most liquid sports person.
He don't care about black folks like that.
That's
go ahead.
true.
Or you can say
But he-
Nas.
Or Nas, but he care about making money, right?
Right.
And what if
Point
they
taken.
start to invest in their own league and they say, forget the white man? Y'all, you know what I'm saying, XYZ, this thing went all the way left. I'm going to show you what the power of us is. Because at the end of the day, the league is how black in terms of
70.
Like 80% black damn near.
80%
About 70,
black.
75%.
And then
80.
we're talking, maybe not head coaches, not a lot of them, but a lot of them assistant coaches
Most-
are
most of them.
black. The majority of them are, right?
Come sweep up on it. You can work under us. You can work under us, right?
But you can't
Right.
be the
But you
head
can't,
coach.
yeah, right.
I mean,
Jay-Z gonna solve that,
I mean,
though,
that,
right?
that
Okay.
what you're
I'm
proposing
just
is that's a good idea. It's
Creating their own.
You talking about Ice Cube? Basically, do the Ice Cube
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doing the big three,
harder
but
to do in football.
Of course, 100%.
Harder.
And we've seen people with a lot more money fail,
100%.
try and fail.
Right.
SFL and something else.
But you know what? It's because they didn't have the names. They didn't have no Aaron Rodgers. They didn't have no Tom Brady. They didn't have no Saquon Barkley.
But
They
the problem is that, and like Ken said, even that league that we just had last year that folded, they had money into it. It's going to be interesting to see what Vince McMahon does with this football league they're going to premiere next
But to
year.
your point, I would definitely applaud the effort, and that was one of the things that I would have liked to have seen. But because I know that's hard. But maybe those people you're talking about can get together, create an investment fund or investment group, and go try to buy a team. Maybe together they'll have the billions of dollars they need to buy a franchise.
But like you said, it's all about who's selling it, and ain't nobody selling no real professional sports.
No, anybody.
team.
No, I understand that. But my point is, if Jay-Z's ulterior motive was to get a team at some point or a stake in a team, that could have been one way to do it. But
course.
even if he did do that, they still not going to listen to that Negro. That's the thing. money, image. Jay-Z solves both of those because black people may start watching again. They damn sure gonna watch the Super Bowl because Rihanna's gonna be there.
But given the fact that black people stopped watching, that didn't really hurt their bottom line.
Nope. They still made
because
and it wasn't all black people.
Here's the thing. Black people aren't the NFL's demographic.
But in business you can forecast, right?
Yeah, you can forecast.
And I think they were starting when Jay-Z said no, and a lot of other people started to say no. They could forecast ahead that was going to have a more of a significant impact than not having them on board.
Right.
So that was the business decision that they made. Man, Jay-Z's one of my favorite rappers. I hate when people say that because you always know something coming.
Right. Yeah.
But
you're token.
But hey man, he's their token.
Everybody,
that wasn't his intention.
My thing is
because he probably thought he was doing good. But the fact of the matter is, if this is Saved by the Bell, he Mario Lopez or Lisa Turtle. If he's just one of those Negroes in the movie, and he's approaching this probably with good intentions. I would hope, and I'm optimistic or cautiously optimistic. No, I take that back. I'm hoping that something good comes out of it because I want something good comes out of it.
But you're expecting the worst.
I don't have that much faith in Jay-Z, and I damn sure don't have faith in the NFL.
I don't have any faith in the NFL. That's what Jay-Z can or can't do will be based on what they do. And the NFL, for all of my life, has shown me what they're about. So I'm not about to think that they're anything different. That being said, since he's in the room, because we didn't know he was coming in the room. Since he's in the room, all I'm saying is, at this point, we don't have a choice but to figure out what happens from here. Because I think if they had continued to protest, continue to bring awareness to social injustice, that's a great thing. But after a while, people are gonna be like, "Oh man, why y'all still kneeling? Why y'all?"
People saying that now.
Yeah, and it's because what the NFL did. You remember what they did last year? Okay, we'll take off the pregame. We won't show the players at the national because the national anthem was never televised. It was never televised.
There was that they had a deal with the military to televise.
Yeah.
It.
So last year they just said, okay, well, you know what? The way we won't piss people off by our viewers seeing players kneeling is to remove it from TV. That way, the only time you know that somebody's kneeling is if you see them in the stadium and you're in the stadium.
Or if it's covered by social media, which has a limited reach.
Right.
But Kyle, in about a year or two, kneeling is going to be non-existent.
Well,
Kenny Stills is going to be out the league. Eric Reed is going to be out the league. Cap is no longer in the league.
Well, you have to ask yourself, okay, well.
Malcolm Jenkins did not sell out, man. Malcolm Jenkins is doing a lot of good work in Philly. If you look at the Malcolm Jenkins Foundation, I went to their website today, and I saw a lot of good stuff and initiatives that he's on board with. He's working with Michelle Obama and all that, too. So it's not like – that's why my main point when I was saying is that the divisiveness is like we're talking about something that everybody is benefiting off of. Everybody's benefiting off the NFL right now. Somehow, some way, Cap benefited off the NFL. Kenny Stills, Eric Reed, they all paying their bills.
But
with
most
NFL
people
checks.
wanted to see Cap benefit and get his job back.
Yes, but you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yes, you can. White folks have it all the damn time.
That's why we compare ourselves to white folks.
Of the problem,
you know what I'm saying?
That's part of the problem.
Because we demand equality. That's why we're comparing ourselves to white folks. Because we don't have it. We can't have our cake and eat it too. And you're saying we shouldn't have our cake and eat it too.
No.
We should have our motherfucking cake and eat it too.
No, I'm not
What
saying
did Malcolm X say? If you have to ask the man for freedom, you don't fucking have it.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is this. That we should not compare ourselves to white folks because white folks cannot compare ourselves. Like we're too different. We're too different. Like we have to do our own thing our own way. They got to do their thing their own way. Because that's the way it is. That's the way the system was set up that way, and that's why we have to figure out a way.
But you have to challenge that status quo.
Who is the system set up by?
I'm not saying we don't challenge it. I'm just saying that we always do this thing where we always compare ourselves to others. It's like, fuck all that shit. What are we doing as black people? Whenever black people focus on just us as a community, we do a lot more good than when we worrying about what other people looking at us doing.
No, we don't.
Black Wall Street.
Where is it now, Nick?
Exactly, but the white people burned it down.
That's the point.
I know, but when we was focusing on us, we caused the destruction.
They're not gonna let us have it.
You're missing it, bro.
So you saying that so what should we do? That's what I'm saying. What should we do? We can't
and strive
fight how? Fight how?
The way we're doing it.
What way were we doing?
Not making a partnership with
By kneeling, you saying kneeling is fighting? Is that all we gonna do?
Created a unison among
what
black people.
What came out of that? Our police now stopped gunning down black people.
I'll tell you what came out of it, and it's something you just mentioned. Malcolm Jenkins shit came out of it. You just lauded that. He working with Michelle Obama.
I'm saying for what?
And I'll even go a step further. Since everybody's touting him as the man in the room, Jay-Z came out of that. Yeah. Now he at the table.
Okay,
that's what came out of it.
That's what I'm saying. When we do stuff, when things happen the way we want them to, like Cap.
But that's what
Cap kneeled for a bigger cause, right? And because of that, we got all this other stuff from that. So we're moving forward to action. That's what we're on right now. My main thing is that when we focus on us, when we work in different ways, inside and outside, we can do a lot more. With Cap and everybody else in social media trying to create this Jay-Z versus Cap thing, or whoever created that narrative, that's not helping the cause.
Jay-Z didn't create the narrative. The NFL created the narrative when they went and got him. And now there's this divide. But
there's a bigger divide because the divide has been there. Because
the settlement created a fish or two, and now this a rift.
There was a rift.
But what are we talking? We're not talking about anything that's really leading to change outside of like the shit that we need to focus on. If Cap brought up the point of social justice and he was willing to sacrifice his job for that, that's a noble cause. Moving forward,
maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he wasn't willing. Maybe he didn't want to sacrifice his job. His job just.
But then he made a mistake. Then.
Well, no, I won't say that. I think.
But then what is it?
I go back to my initial point. What I would have liked to have seen, and I think a lot of people say this, is that if Jay-Z came to the table, come on, Cap, come with me.
What if Cap said, I'm not going?
You give Cap that opportunity to tell you I'm not going. You don't go. That's like me going to get something to eat, and I'm coming back from getting something to eat, and I'm like, B, I got something to eat. And B like, bro, you ain't tell me. I'm starving over here.
He ain't starving.
He didn't owe Cap anything, but I think just for me as a businessman, as a black man, I would have come to Cap, hey, look, Cap, this is what I'm about to do. I would love to involve
what he
you
sacrificed.
Now, if Cap said, man, I ain't fucking with the NFL, fuck them. Okay. I'm done.
He still would have looked at the same way.
No,
yes,
bro. I don't think so.
I
guarantee.
I guarantee he looked at the same way because then people would have been like, "Why don't you stick with your brother?"
Somebody asked Jay-Z about it, and Jay-Z said, "Well, I'm not his boss. I don't owe him." He said something to that effect, and I probably would have. I understand what he was saying. I probably would have worded it differently, but I want to be clear. He didn't owe Cap anything, but I think that would have been the right thing to do, and at the very least. He could have come and said, "Hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do." Or when the NFL came calling, well, let me talk to Cap first. Because here's the thing: the Jermaine Dupri, whatever they offered him, they offered Jermaine Dupri something probably dealing with Atlanta Super Bowl. They don't want Jermaine Dupri. Roger Goodell has no clue who Jermaine Dupri is. Most rap fans don't know who Jermaine Dupri is. So my thing is, this deal didn't just happen this past week.
Because if you can call Jermaine Dupri, you damn sure can call Cap.
Right.
If you can call Jermaine Dupri and tell him don't take the deal, why can't you call Cap?
Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, has been close to Meek or whatever like that. We know Jay-Z's relationship with Meek. We know what Jay has done for criminal reform. So when those conversations started happening, that's when you got to go to Cap, or at least bring Cap into the fold, or at the very least, propose his name to the owners. Well, look, I'm thinking about partnering with Cap when we do this because I want him to be the face of it. What it looks like from the outside looking in, the NFL got paid, the Players Coalition got paid, which was formed, got paid, Jay-Z got paid, Cap got paid for lost wages, but he's still left out in the cold, and he was the one who has sacrificed the most.
But but with sacrifice, you need some type of martyr for this all to work, right?
Not always, man.
Not always.
For it to go this way. So you telling me if Cap did not kneel, we would have got this?
I think Jay-Z could have handled it better. I'm in the middle.
I'm in the middle too, but I'm just looking at it for like the bigger pictures about action for social justice.
Yeah,
that's all I care about. I don't care about Cap getting a job.
Said at the press,
I don't care about Jay-Z getting paid.
He said you have to have actionable items, but he listed none.
I don't care.
I don't
care about Cap getting a job because he sacrificed his job.
Nah,
that's what he did.
Bro, you look.
I'm cool.
Did he not do that?
Ken, we're talking about it Thursday, so I'm not going to get into all of it now. But yeah, I look at that completely different. Completely different.
I think he had the job and he lost the job, and that's unfortunate. And again, I think he probably knew when he opted out of his contract that was going to be it. That being said, Jay-Z didn't owe him anything. He don't owe Jay-Z anything. But it's become a divisive issue because I think a lot of people feel like he should have been involved in this in some way, shape, or form. It looks like everybody's, like you said, money's being exchanged. It's money and image. Everybody's benefiting from it except Cap. And he was the one who risked it all and started it all.
He did, but we don't know what that settlement entitled.
But the settlement,
because
in theory, the settlement is for lost wages.
In theory, but
no. Hold on, let me finish my point. The settlement is what he had to sue for. So that means they weren't going to willingly give him.
Of course.
Let's say it's $80 million, they weren't going to willingly give him the $80 million. He said, "Look, I'm worth this amount of money. You kept me out of the league. I can prove through whatever measure that you kept me out. You owe me this amount of money." So yeah, he got that, but that was money that he had to sue for. I shouldn't have to sue you for money that
willingly giving it to everybody else.
Yeah.
But my thing is that there's an NDA attached to that.
Of course. So we'll never know.
So you're willing to take this money, even though it is lost wages, but you can't never speak about what actually.
We'll never know what it was.
So
that happens in a lot of settlements. That's common.
It does happen, but also that kind of is that's why it's a very valid argument.
I'm not asking for us to know.
You could have really pressed them down. Why did you take the settlement?
I'm not asking for us to know how much
you getting paid by Nike.
I'm not asking for us I'm not asking for us to know how much
pockets. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the NFL gave him $1 billion. Like I'm not whatever Cap felt that it was worth to settle for is Cap's business.
And I'm glad you said that, because my point is this shit should not be about him having a job at all. That's why I said
earlier, it is.
I said it's all about what he stood for and what he was kneeling for. That's the main thing I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about Jay-Z getting paid. But when he brought it up, he saw the tweets, Nessa tweeting, Eric Reed come out doing this shit with the NFL is disrespectful and all that, because people are saying he's getting paid for this and all that. He's bringing money into the situation. So now you can't tell me.
Jay-Z brought money into the situation. When he made the deal.
He made the deal, but there's there's multiple ways that black people can attack this issue. I don't think there's one way to attack this issue, and I don't think Cap is the only motherfucker that we have to go through for us to solve the issue that he brought up.
No.
So that's what it seems like, because when Malcolm Jenkins was trying to do some things, they called him a coon too and an Uncle Tom or a token.
Of course.
So it's like, is everybody Uncle Tom token for doing what their way of doing things?
At the end of the day, you're always going to get some type of flack for doing something.
Yeah.
And like I always
can't
say,
please everybody.
Exactly. Like, love is balance. And what that means is that with the love comes the hate and the criticism and the chastising and the people ridiculing you, right? It comes with that. The people that are strong are the ones that endure because they know that their mission is greater than everything else that you can tell me. That's the reason why the Malcolm X's get assassinated. That's why Martin Luther King gets assassinated, because his will was too big. It was too strong. You galvanized too many people. And the thing is, and you've been saying it the whole time, it's just divisive. All we need to do, it doesn't matter if Jay-Z invited Cap or not. Let's judge Jay-Z on his actions. The same way we judge Kaepernick on his actions.
Exactly. That's my whole
point. So let's just judge these people on their actions. Not everybody. And Ken, look, here's the thing. Obviously, we want to hold everybody to a certain standard. Not everybody is going to meet that or exceed that standard because it's balanced. You have some fuck boys out here trying to cap for a cause. And their shit gets shut down. But then you got people that are actually out here trying to do something. Those are the people that we need to stand behind, because those are the people that's going to make a difference. And that's all I'm saying. Let's judge people by their actions. It's still too early to judge Jay. We just know how it makes us feel and what it looks like.
It's not too early to judge. It's not.
Look, we are media, and we have people that enjoy how we feel about certain things, and we owe it to the people that help fund this.
We're black media, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You brought that up because one of the things that I criticize often is how black people are covered. So what do we have here? We have a black show that was created to change that in our way, to cover it in the way that we want to see some of this stuff covered in a multitude of ways.
Right.
We had an issue with the way hip hop was covered. hip hop is mostly white independent white organizations. Black, let's cover it different. We went out and created our own way of changing things and to better our community in order to control certain narratives.
100.
You know, so that's our way of activism, and that's why we're speaking out now, because,
Of course.
you know, I would feel some kind of way if I saw white people talking about this. You know what I'm saying? And we're criticizing it in a way because we want everything to work out.
Exactly.
And when we see,
because we have expectations.
Yeah,
Yes.
high expectations.
we have not only the expectation, we have lives at risk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers still getting shot and killed in the street since Cap took the knee. They still gonna
They was
get
getting
shot
shot
and killed
before.
in the knee when Jay-Z walk in the boardroom. That ain't gonna stop that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This players coalition and this Inspire Change, that ain't gonna stop shit. All the other shit that they doing, these little goody two shoes organization that Kyle mentioned, they ain't stop shit. That shit's still going on. It's money, image, and that's all this is. And that's the fucked up thing about it.
You have to be very careful when you get in bed with the NFL, because the NFL is a hoe, and they will hoe you out.
Well, if there's one man that can navigate in a room full of vultures,
Yeah, I
we know
mean,
who that is.
he's got a track record.
Nah, man.
He's got a track.
Hey,
At this point,
I'm hopeful,
At this point, that's all you can be.
Exactly.
but I don't.
That's
I-
all
I'm
black
with
people
Kyle,
ever
bro.
been.
I'm with Kyle, bro.
I don't trust that shield.
Yeah.
Man, these
I don't trust the
motherfucking
NFL.
white folks, bro.
The first thing I said when I heard it, I said, I think he. I didn't say he sold out. I told my boy, I said, I think he played himself, because you don't understand how these dudes move. The NFL that we see now is more transparent, but I mean, they've always been like that.
And this might not even about the NFL being racist.
No, I don't. It's not about.
It's all about what the first thing you led with,
Yeah,
money.
Money. It's always their bottom line is green.
But who's been at the who had to endure, who had to suffer because of that money the most?
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yeah. No, they care about green. If you, they don't care what color you are when they put you out there on that field. If you can make the money, that's fine.
That's it.
That's it. So, you know, if Jay-Z's watching this, and I'm sure he is, proceed with caution, Jay, if you're watching.
I'm just going. It's a wait and see approach.
I mean,
I'm not
at this
gonna-
point,
I'm
that's
not
all
gonna
we can
attack-
do.
I'm not
We
going to
can't
attack
do.
either side. Like,
At this point, that's all we can do. Just, you know, but when
I'm glad Malcolm and Martin didn't wait and see.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's gonna do it for us.
he just want to get the last damn word. That ain't even
he
make
had a look on his face too.
Hey, I'm just
That's true.
saying. I'm just saying though.
They didn't wait and see.
Appreciate you coming through, Kyle.
Hey man, always good. I'm gonna try to come back sooner than later, for real, for real.
Yeah.
All
but
right, so in 2021, you'll see Kyle again.
Look at Nick. Well, you know, it's easier doing it here than I don't have to cuss you out when I'm in my car listening.
Hey,
Yeah, see? There you go.
Hey,
Yeah,
man, it's always
so-
good to be back, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. Yeah, you know, we're as mentioned, we trying to get better. Some of y'all said y'all like the likes. Leave us the feedback, man. That
They like this
determines.
better? They like this better?
No,
the dim light.
other
I like
lights.
the blue
yeah.
lights.
Oh,
I
yeah.
came for the
Stage
blue
lights.
lights.
Yeah,
I
he
thought we
did
had the
come
blue
for that.
lights.
He
Man,
didn't-
Should have said something, bro.
I'm just happy to be here.
Well, next time you here,
I'm very happy to be
we'll
here.
get you- We'll get you the blue
Very
lights.
happy to be here.
Yeah, but yeah, man, we want to make it a show that you guys enjoy. I didn't get a chance to talk baseball. We had a lot of stuff to cover. We had the brother Kyle here. We've been talking about a lot of the stuff that we discussed today in the chat, so we definitely want to
Yeah.
get a chance to talk out loud with him, and so he can get out and document, you know, his thoughts here. But you know, I'm sure, possibly, maybe, I don't know, if he would have covered it on his own podcast, which you can tell him about right now.
Oh yeah, definitely make sure you check out my podcast called the 12 Kyle Podcast. You can find it on every platform where podcasts are free.
Yep. So we'll catch you guys next week. We out. Peace.
Peace. 5,000.
Oh yeah, I'm tired.
It's 12. I didn't realize it was this early.
Early.
You know, that's me being funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm out, but I'm about to take this leap.
Yeah, I'm out too.
Oh yeah.
5 o'clock come early.
Hey, next Monday. Next Monday night.